Do you feel fulfilled in love? The show will begin in 4 minutes. Are you ready? When was the last time you felt betrayed? When was the last time you felt loved? The show will begin in 3 minutes. Are you ready? What did it feel like to be in love? What is the most painful part of being in love? The show will begin in 2 minutes. Are you ready? Are you ready to be transformed? Are you ready to make a change? The show will begin in 1 minute. I hope you're ready. The show will begin in exactly 30 seconds. Get ready. What if I told you men fall in love with you the most when you are unbothered? What if I also told you you can't actually be unbothered if you don't have the right strategy to do so? Which is exactly why on today's show we're going to be discussing how to be so unbothered that the men fall in love with you. That way he can finally be the one going crazy over you instead of the other way around. Welcome to the Players Club. If you're paying attention to me and everyone else on the live stream, please say here present so I know you're here present and actively participating. Welcome to the show. Sorry about being late, guys. I was ready. I promise you I was ready. But my old dusty computer be glitching on me at the worst times. Don't worry. I'm in the process of building a new one. It's going to be ready in about a week or so, and we won't have too many other technical difficulties and glitches. It's a state-of-the-art computer, okay? I'm fixing all the problems. But glad to see you guys here, and I'm so excited to spend this time with you guys. I hope you're excited to spend this time with me. Who we got up in the TikTok chat? We got Yennefer here. We got Pretty Ray here. Yatunde? Okay, it's an African name for sure. Magdalena here, Sissy here, Gabriella in the TikTok chat, Sardine here, Dominica here, and of course we have our three moderators, Sharice, SH, and Scotty here. At least I hope they're all three here. Who we got up in the YouTube chat? Let me see here. We got Ivy, one of our amazing channel members who's always here. Nicole, one of the best channel members and most generous channel members who's always here. Kayla is here. Elsa is here. Mary's here. Irina is here. Bella's here. Who we got? Lola is here. Viola is here. Suzuki, one of our channel members, is here. Let me scroll up, make sure I didn't miss any of our channel members here. I want to make sure I got all the channel members. I know you guys were waiting. Oh, and thank you to Suzuki for donating earlier in the show. Welcome all. Oh, we got Henya, one of our channel members here as well. Welcome all you beautiful people. So good to see you. And we will get started now. I don't want to waste any more time. Let me make sure my chat's in the right place. And let's get this party started off with number one. How was your weekend, chat? I hope you guys were all good. Stayed safe, stayed good, had fun. Not too much fun, okay? Hopefully not so much fun that you're gonna have to start asking me a whole bunch of Discord questions because of mistakes you made, but hopefully like the right amount of fun that, it was good fun, good wholesome fun. All right, now let's hop into number one, and I really want this show, for you to take from this show, that it is so important that in order for you to properly be unbothered, you actually put effort towards putting yourself in a winning situation to be unbothered. You can't just expect to be unbothered by sitting in your bed and saying, I'm gonna be unbothered. It doesn't work like that, okay? Which is exactly why this will be our first point here. And one of our most important points that I kind of want us to take a look at. So let's go through your week here. And obviously you have your Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I know that's not how the week's supposed to go. It's supposed to start on the Sunday, but who cares, okay? Now, let's kind of go through this and why routines are so important, right? Because on a regular routine, obviously you're gonna have what we would consider these days, right? The Monday to Friday, which is going to be your weekday. And on your weekday, you're going to do very particular things from about, 9 to 5, right? Whatever your job is, whatever your occupation is, even if you work a night shift, right? You're going to have particular things to do on those days, and they're going to be filled up for the most part, except for the afternoon, okay? Now, it's very important that you understand when you're trying to actually be unbothered, you have to allocate as much time as you possibly can in your week and in your daily routine so that none of that time is just spent sitting and watching paint dry. This is a really big, important key here because being unbothered is not just about saying, I don't care anymore. I don't like this guy. I don't care about what he's doing. Oh, he's not texting me back. I'm going to be unbothered. Oh, he's not calling me anymore. I'm going to be unbothered. I watched Tomisin's show, so I'm just going to pretend to be unbothered. It's not about that because that won't actually work for you. Because if you're laying in your bed with nothing to do and nowhere to go, trying to be unbothered is only going to make you feel more bothered. And then you're going to start spiraling and everything's going to go out of control. So the reason I want to kind of discuss routine to you here, and I know this isn't a routine planning or week planning course that you're taking here, but we teach a lot about love, life, and relationships, and a lot of this stuff applies. So in your week here, what I want to kind of break down to you is you can't just be thinking about, okay, I go to work every single day and that's what I do. And when I come home, I do whatever I feel like doing. When you get really strategic, if you're really serious about being unbothered, you're not just going to build your weekly routine. You're going to build your daily routine, right? So you have your morning, your afternoon, and your night, right? And it's so important that you understand exactly what do each parts of my daily routine consist of. You might be thinking, Thompson, what does this have to do with anything? I'll show you why this is so important. So you have your week here, and obviously during the week, you're going to work, you're doing whatever your weekly schedule is that you use to make money. What's also important is to make sure that you're allocating what you're going to do on this time as well. Because one of the mistakes you can make is not properly allocating your time throughout the week, understanding that throughout the Saturday and throughout the Sunday, you're going to be free. You're going to be able to do whatever you feel like doing, go wherever you feel like going. This is important time that you want to be allocating. So you want to fill this day with things as well in order to properly be unbothered. Now, does that mean that every single, you got to work an extra shift on the Saturday and Sunday to be truly unbothered? No. What that does mean is even when it comes to your fun, the things that you go out with your friends and you do out of your enjoyment just to take a load off and relax, you plan those as well. So if you really want to go to the aquarium with your girls and that's something you've been wanting to do, you plan that out right at the beginning of your week. If you really want to, let's just say, go out to the club because you've been feeling like shaking your ass and twerking up a storm to Sexy Red, then you plan that at the beginning of the week. What I want you to start doing and getting in the habit of doing is being strict on your routine throughout your week and throughout your weekend. Because, and this is how it's all going to kind of tie back here, right? Because you obviously have your wake up, right? Your wake, maybe gym, right? And other things, right? And then in your afternoon, you probably have work. Then you have relax. Then you have maybe some fun, right? And then the nighttime, you have obviously rest. Maybe you read. And et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But what you want to get in the habit of doing, see, this is why this is so important. Once you start building this routine out and you understand to a T, what am I going to be doing throughout the week, even outside of just work, even for fun? What am I going to be doing on a daily basis? And what is my weekend going to look like? I'm going to plan that from when I wake up to when I go to bed, even if the entire day is just planning out my itinerary for fun that I'm going to do. I'm going to go for drinks with this friend at this time. And then after that, I'm going to go and do this. Or after that, I'm going to read a book. Or after that, I'm going to watch Netflix for 2 hours. What I want you to get into the habit of doing is being able to have a schedule of what you already plan to do every single day so that you're never having to decide in the moment. And this is where I want to tie everything back to you in the sense of being unbothered. See, the more that you don't have to make decisions about what am I going to do now, I'm really bored, the easier it is to stay on task with whatever you plan to do, but also feel like you have something to do. Having something to do is one of the key elements of actually being unbothered. You can't be unbothered if you feel like that person is your sole source of happiness. If you feel like you've scheduled and planned your entire life around that guy, if he disappoints you, it's going to bother you. But if you have other things going on throughout your day and throughout your week, if you already have a schedule packed out to a T, even if some of it's just fun and relaxation, you can say to yourself, oh, perfect. Actually, this is great that you disappointed me and you flopped on our date. This is great that I'm no longer going to be dating you and I have some free time. I can take some of that free time back and I can plan something else in this time that I was supposed to go on a date with you, or I was supposed to hang out with you, or you were supposed to call me. And now I get another opportunity to do more things throughout my week. And so it becomes like this really interesting concept where in your mind, instead of you looking at it as, oh, whenever he upsets me or leaves me or doesn't speak to me, it makes me feel sad because I've lost something. You start to feel like, hey, whenever a guy who's not meeting my expectations doesn't speak to me, doesn't talk to me, doesn't text me, it actually doesn't bother me because I'm actually excited. I get more time for myself. And when you get into this habit of building out your schedule, right, this is a whole lot of, even though you might be hanging out with other people and spending time with other people, you're like scheduling your you time. So you get into the habit of building your you time, loving your you time, and loving being able to accomplish all of those things that you have throughout the week. So when you have 10 things on your schedule that you got to do throughout this entire week, you start to feel a little bit stressed, right? Even though some of it's fun, but it's a good kind of stress where it's like, okay, I have things to do. So when one small guy disappoints you on a Thursday afternoon where you were supposed to go out on a date, and you're like, damn, I was supposed to go out on this date with him on Thursday afternoon, but instead we're not going out on Thursday afternoon anymore, you're also saying, well, I have a lot of stuff to do on Friday. In fact, my schedule is pretty packed all day. I got a lot of stuff to do on Saturday. And actually, now that I'm not going out with him on Thursday, I probably won't be drunk, so I won't be hungover. I could probably get some really good rest. Or on this Thursday night, I can maybe take a little bubble bath and relax because I know I have a stressful morning on the Friday. And you see, it starts to become something where instead of you feeling like, oh, I was counting on you to bring me happiness, I was relying on you to bring the sunshine into my life. My life was so dull and boring and uninteresting. Why would you do this to me? I needed this piece of happiness. I just wanted to go out once and feel good about. No. Instead of you feeling like this guy was your only way to feel good about yourself, you'll start to feel like throughout your week, you have a multitude of different ways to feel good about yourself. You could go to the gym. You're already planning to go out with your girls. You're already planning to go here and do this and do that. And so it becomes a whole lot less disappointing to you anytime a guy who you're dating or just talking to disappoints you. Now, you might be thinking, well, Thompson, why would I want to be not disappointed when a guy disappoints me? I should be disappointed and I should be able to feel those emotions. I'm not saying you shouldn't feel those emotions, but what I want for you is to understand that if a guy chooses to disappoint you, not call you, not text him, you have to be okay with the choice. What I'm trying to help you do in today's show and a lot throughout the Players Club is prevent you from crashing out. I don't want you to crash out. Very bad when you crash out. Only bad things happen when you crash out. And you go crazy on men and you over explain and you try to get them to see this and understand this and they treated you like it doesn't work. Okay. I want you to get into the habit of being of yourself, caring about you, and allowing the men who are going to be on this train with you to wherever you're going to get there and be on there with you. And if they're choosing not to and they're choosing not to show up for you, it doesn't bother you. Your train still moves. Because then you will attract the people into your life that you want, and the people who are not meeting those expectations, you won't even bother yourself worrying about them, okay? So routine is number one. Does that make sense to you guys so far, and why that is very, very important? You have to start building out your routine in order to do this unbothered thing properly. If you're sitting in your bed and you're sulking, you're scrolling through Instagram, scrolling through TikTok all day, right? And you have nothing to do, you're gonna be so much more bothered. You understand? So let's hop right into number 2, okay? I want you as unbothered as humanly possible, okay? Now, number 2 is gonna sound strange. And for some of you, it might be disappointing to hear me say this to you, okay? Let me draw this Y properly. Okay, you are gonna get yourself a Yap friend, okay? This might sound weird to some of you who are a little bit on the older side. When I say Yap friend, I just mean a friend you can yap with, meaning a friend you can talk to and dump on, okay? Let's give you a little bit of a visual because I want you to kind of imagine this so you can understand why this is so important and why this will help you get to where you want to go, okay? So let's imagine you have here a trash can, right? And a typical trash can works in a way that makes sense to all of us, right? You fill it up with trash, so you got trash here, you got different things here, right? A whole bunch of trash here, trash. And you fill up your trash can throughout the week, and at the end of the week, or maybe it's a Tuesday or a Wednesday or a Thursday for you, the trash man comes and he takes your trash from you, and you replace the trash bag with the new trash bin, and then there's no more trash anymore and it's empty, and then you fill it back up later again, right? Because your trash bin is empty, right? Pretty simple concept. Now, here's the problem. Let's say, for the sake of argument, 1 week, you decide not to take out your trash bin. You just get lazy with it. And so your trash bin fills up and it fills up and it's here, right? And it's like, like halfway or something like that. but you don't empty it out this week. And so you start off with a half-filled trash bin, and so now you're filling it up and filling it up and filling it up and filling it up, and now all of a sudden your trash bin is full. And let's say for the third week in a row, you still don't fill up that trash bin. And now you got trash overflowing. It's falling out of the trash bin, okay? It's on the floors now, and it's also starting to create this really nasty stench, okay? Everything's starting to smell here, okay? Growing mold and things like that. Very, 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 very nasty, your trash bin. Now, what I want to kind of connect to you in this analogy is your feelings are just like this, okay? Because your trash bin is like your ability to feel resolved, like you got the emotions or the thoughts that were in your mind and on your heart out of your body and, just into the universe somewhere. You have to feel cleansed. You have to feel clear. If you don't get an opportunity to do that at no point in your life, you'll start to feel congested. Okay, like a filled up trash bin, when you have to kind of like press it down and kind of stuff it so you can fit more stuff in it. But what's going to happen after a while is if you never take that trash out, it will start growing mold. Things will start to smell, right? Things that you were able to keep for like a week or so. Now that you're keeping it for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, it's going to start creating problems. And see, a trash can is useful when you want to dump things in and you want to throw it away after a week, like give it to the garbage man after a week. But if you don't clear it out, that small little trash can that was useful to you before can actually make your entire house unlivable. Because it can attract rats, it can attract rodents, insects, roaches, all that other stuff. And you might have a smelly, nasty house that you can't even step foot inside because of the same trash can that you were utilizing and was good to you before. So it's the same thing with your emotions. You have to understand you need a friend to yap with, to get all of these emotions and feelings out. If you want to cry, you need that friend. If you want to just talk about your feelings and emotions, you need that friend. If you want to just tell them exactly how you feel about everything and even just say things that make absolutely no sense and contradict yourself, you need that friend. Okay, let me make sure I refresh this here. Right? You have to have that friend in your life. If you don't have that friend in your life, you need to go and find that friend. And I really mean that, okay? I know some of you won't like me to say that to you, that you're going to have to go and find a yap friend if you don't already have one, okay? Diana said ChatGPT. No, okay? We're connecting with real humans. I know we're in 2024. No ChatGPT. You're going to go find a real yap friend because as we exist as human beings, there is something cleansing to the soul to feel like I'm actually expressing emotions to another human being. ChatGPT is never going to do it for you, okay? Let's not even pretend here. I know we're all into technology and it's 2024. It's not going to work the same for you. Typing it out on, to ChatGPT or saying it to a computer is not going to make you feel as resolved as actually being able to tell your emotions and feelings to someone who you actually know also has emotions and feelings and could have maybe gone through the same thing as you. Are you following me, right? I want you to find a yap friend, okay? I even see some people say, what about a diary? No, I want this to be another human because I want you to experience what you are. Here's the thing. When you're in a state where a guy makes you angry, and this is where I want you to actually be paying attention and understand this. When you're in a state where a guy makes you angry, he disappoints you, he disrespects you, he doesn't show up for you in the way that you want him to show up. Your emotions want to express, you did this wrong. How could you do this to me? How could you not call me when you said you were going to call me? How could you not show up when you said you were going to show up? How could you disappoint me? And all that other stuff, right? You're a human being. Nothing wrong with that. And you want to tell the person that hurt you all the ways they hurt you. But remember, I tell you to avoid doing that. I tell you not to crash out. I tell you not to waste your energy over explaining to men because they're never going to see your point and they're never going to try to make a change anyways. The reason I want you to have a yap friend is because I want you to experience what your soul is desiring, which is to get those feelings off your chest and to just say it how you really feel it and how you really mean it. And I want you to be able to experience that in a way that doesn't affect the relationship that you're having with that guy, okay? Right? And doesn't affect your ability to stay sane and be in the position of power that I want you in in your dating stages. Are you following what I'm talking about, right? So I want this yap friend to be the person that you know you can go to and dump on without having to worry about consequences for the dumping. Because theoretically, you could dump all of those emotions when a man disappoints you on that man. But crashing out, as we've already stated, doesn't actually benefit you. In fact, it will make a lot of things worse. And when you crash out, we'll talk about this at the end too. When you crash out, you're going to find yourself in a spiral formation that is just making things worse and worse and worse as time goes on. I don't want you to do that, okay? I want you to have a yap friend that you can always go to trauma dump all of the feelings of hurt and pain and misery that man has caused you. And there should be no judgment. And if you can be that for that person as well, that yap friend, that'll be even better, because then you and that friend can go for a walk and yap. Oh, I need a yap session. Let's do it. All right. You sit in the car, you yap with your friend. This should be, I should have specified this. Okay. My mistake. This yap friend should be a platonic woman. If you swing both ways, this should be someone you have no romantic feelings for. Not in a million years. Okay. This yap friend, it should not be a guy. Okay? Should not be a guy. This yap friend should be a woman or a family member. Okay? If it's a guy, it should be your dad or your brother or something. Nothing wrong with it being a family member. But no male friends. This is my man, best friend since we were... No, because that all gets weird. And when you start trauma dumping on the guy who secretly likes you, but you don't know he likes you, that can get really weird really fast. Okay? Women or family members. Platonic friends, okay? Someone said, what about a gay man? That's fine too, okay? I just want it to be platonic. I want it to be someone that you can yap to that has no vested interest in giving you advice that will either encourage you to crash out and end the relationship or do things that don't actually put you in a position that you want to be in, which is success, okay? I just want there to be no ulterior motives here. That's why I say platonic friend or a family member, right? If it's going to be a man, and make sure it's that is your yap friend that you go to for the dumping. We want you to dump. We want you to get off your chest everything that you feel, but we want to present you as unbothered to the guy that you're dating or talking to. We don't want you crashing out on him, right? Because when you can appear unbothered, that's when men actually think about their mistakes and consider making a change if they really want access to you again, right? We don't want you crashing out for any reason whatsoever, especially at the beginning, okay, right? Any of you guys asking? To make it very simple for you guys, just know straight men who you know can possibly be attracted to you, okay? That is the gist of what I'm saying. Anything outside of that where it's a platonic relationship or you know for whatever reason they're not attracted to you because they just don't swing that way, that's fine. That's what I consider a platonic friend. Or you can go to a therapist. But having it be a friend is more on demand, okay? Theoretically, you could go to a therapist, but can all of us afford a therapist? No, okay? So I want to give you guys a realistic way about going about that. Someone said, so ChatGPT? Absolutely not. No ChatGPT. Real human beings. I'm never advising you to use a computer for your emotions. It's not going to work for you, okay? At least not now. We don't have technology like that. All right, so routine number 1. Yap friend number 2, and let's hop into number 3. I want you guys to get this. It's very important. Okay? Let me see, what was my example for number 3? I had a really good example. Oh yeah, that was a really good one. I'm so smart. Let's go to number 3. Okay. So important. You have to understand what your own individual triggers are. In the process of you going on this journey, you want to be more unbothered. You don't want things to bother you and get you confuzzled and in a conundrum and feeling horrible and crashing out. Good. That's good. That's fine. We need to have some self-awareness, though. It's good for all of us. Good for the soul, self-awareness. You're not going to lie to yourself about what bothers you. You're going to be honest with yourself. So let me explain this in a little bit of an analogy. I'm not a good drawer. Please don't make fun of me, okay? So we're going to pretend right? This is your arm right here. You got a forearm like Popeye, right? And let's just say this is an arm right here, right? And let's say for the sake of example, your arm has this really, really, really big gash on it, right? You got this weird gash that you scraped your arm because you fell the other day on your arm, right? Someone said Picasso who? You guys like that? It's 6 fingers. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 5. What are you talking about? That's 5 fingers, okay? So let's say for the sake of argument, right? You have this big gash on your arm. And because of this big gash, whenever you hug someone or someone like touches that part of your arm, or even when you're sleeping in your bed, you can feel it and it stings. And anytime anyone hits it, you're like, ah, my arm, it hurts so bad. Ah, please don't touch it, right? And when you understand that anytime someone hits this gash on your arm, that you're in a lot of pain, what are you most likely to do? You're most likely to say, okay, I'm gonna bandage it up. And when I go to hug people, I'm gonna hug them with this side of my body, right? I'm gonna avoid touching people with this side of my arm. I'm gonna avoid sleeping on this side of my arm, right? I'm gonna sleep on my other shoulder or sleep on my back. I'm gonna tell people, hey, don't, hit me on this side of my arm. I've got a gash here. Please make sure not to bump me, or please make sure not to hug me on this side. I've got a really big bruise here, a really big gash here, and it hurts really bad if anyone touches it. So the reason I give you guys this visual and analogy is because I want you to go about your triggers the exact same way. Meaning, when you get self-aware about the things that are your biggest insecurities, right? Meaning the things that someone can say that will really hit you in the chest. You know the things that if someone makes fun of you for those things, you'll actually feel bad. Like you'll feel it. Okay? Because it's something you're either insecure about, that you want to change about yourself, you want to adjust, that just, it's close to home for whatever reason for you. Being self-aware is understanding those things hit close to home. Those are the most likely things you can say that will make me insecure. Or if it's a trauma that you suffered via family, via friends, via past relationships, right? You understand, okay, because of this trauma or experience I've had, if someone does this to me, it's really gonna trigger me. If someone says this to me, it's really gonna trigger me. So what I want you to get good at is understanding those things about yourself, right? Understanding what your wounds are. That's quite a literal analogy. I'm pretty good. What your wounds are, what your gashes are, that you can now become aware and say, okay, when I hug people, when I interact people, I'm going to avoid allowing them to hit this gash here or this wound, because that's going to put me in pain. So it's same thing kind of with your emotions. You want to understand what triggers you so that you are very aware. Oh, he hit me there. I already know this is something that will make me crash out. I need to take several steps back. Because I know if I start trying to fight this battle, or I start trying to go back and forth on this topic, or in a situation like this, when he did this to me, I'm going to crash out, I'm going to lose my mind, and I'm never going to be able to recover from this, okay? So let's just say, for the sake of example, you're talking to a guy and you realize that this guy is messaging a girl on his phone, and you see a name pop up on his phone. And you have a lot of trust issues because your last ex cheated on you, and he cheated on you 85 times. So you got a whole bunch of trauma from that, right? And you see a message on his phone. Before you go to the crash out, I want you to, oh, okay. I need, before I even speak here, before I even say a word, I need to take a step away. In fact, you know what? We're hanging out now. I need to just go for a walk. Even if you need to end the hangout, I need to go and end the hangout, or I need to go to the bathroom, or I need to just take a second. Give me a second away from you. I need to breathe. I need to feel my emotions, because I know this is a prime situation for me to crash out in. Okay? Being self-aware is good, because before the crash out even happens, you can be aware this is a situation that will cause me to crash out. I will go crazy about this. Based on my experience, I know me. So before I even go crazy, I need to take a step back. I need to take a walk around the block. I need to just breathe. I need to drink water. I need to go to the gym. I need to focus on something else just for a second, so that I can breathe and come back and have this conversation with you from a sane, logical place. Nothing wrong with having emotions. I will never tell you to not have emotions, but you do not allow your emotions to control you. You are in control of your emotions, and as you feel them, you work alongside them to get to your destination or to get to your goal. And it's the same thing in your relationships. You do not allow your triggers to allow you to crash out or go crazy on guys where then you're trying to backtrack and recover from that after going crazy or after saying a whole bunch of stuff that kind of sets you up in a bad place or causes you to lose a lot of your power, because crashing out can make you feel like you're gaining a lot of power by telling him off and telling him this and telling him that, but you actually just show him how much power he has over you and over your emotions by doing all that crashing out. Okay, right? Gut said pacify yourself pretty much. Absolutely not. You're not pacifying your emotions. You're allowing yourself to feel your emotions, but you're not allowing your emotions to put you in a position where you're now going back or looking back on the situation and saying, even though I was emotional, I shouldn't have done that, or I shouldn't have said that, or I shouldn't have responded like that. There was a way to feel my emotion without crashing out or putting myself in a worse position. Are you following me? Right? When you get really good at in the Players Club and you become like a master, right? And you understand, I will never advise you to not feel emotions. I will never advise you to not care when guys disappoint you, to not be sad or upset or anything about that. But what I don't want for you is to allow those emotions to make you make worse decisions that you then feel it's necessary to try to recover from later. Because what a lot of you are finding, and the position a lot of you are finding yourselves in, because I'm helping so many of you, is when you make the first mistake, you start thinking about afterwards how to recover from the first mistake. But making the first mistake causes you to crash out more, and you start digging yourself a deeper hole trying to recover from each and every mistake. And it progressively gets worse, which is very bad, okay? So let's go on to number 4, because we're gonna get to that point and I wanna kind of explain that to you in detail, okay? So does that make sense to you guys so far? And why that's so important, okay? So let's hop into our 4th point. To help you be as unbothered as humanly possible, okay? You will be this tranquil being of peace and prosperity and tranquility, hopefully, okay? Okay, let's hop into our 4th point. Cool. All right. So we have here what we would describe as snail mail. What I want from you, okay, it's gonna sound funny. All right, we're gonna get into our 2024 talk here. What I mean by 2024 talk is I want us to kind of talk about the way that we go about relationships now, all right? Not how we used to go about them when we were riding on horses and delivering message via horse, okay? So let's kind of understand in a little bit of a visual what snail mail really means. When you're going about texting or responding to situations that upset you or bother you deeply, what I want for you to get into the habit of is not making the mistake of reacting as soon as the thing that upsets you. So let's kind of put together 2 scenarios here. So I have on the top here, let's imagine that you receive a text from a guy that you're dating that he is flopping on this date. He promised you that you guys were gonna go out on Tuesday night, and now you guys aren't gonna go out on Tuesday night, and he gives you a really lame excuse. So you are really upset about that excuse. You feel like it's unwarranted. You feel like he's kind of lying to you. You feel like maybe he's doing something sneaky behind your back. So you only take 1 minute to respond and tell him exactly how you feel. You want to know what happens when you respond in that 1 minute? You end up delivering to him, right? Not just a regular text message about how you feel or you being disappointed. You crash out, right? Right? You call him out. We can also say here, right? You call him out. And let's say you yell over text, right? Scream. And we can even say you make assumptions. This is not good, okay? Because you're adding so much extra emotion to the text message that you don't want to be in there, because if a guy is choosing not to go out on a date with you, no amount of this is going to make him want to go out on the date with you. I know this sounds very weird and very strange, because you might be thinking, well, are you encouraging me to not have an emotion here? No, no, no. What I want you to understand is, what is the emotion actually getting you? Because in this scenario where you take 1 minute to crash out on him and tell him off and accuse him of this and tell him, oh, I feel like you're lying about going on this date with me. I feel like you just got bored of me or you got uninterested in me. Okay, if you feel that emotion, fair. I'm not saying you shouldn't, but let's analyze, where does that actually put you? What do you actually get out of any of this? Tell me, do you honestly think he's going to say, you know what, you're completely right. I agree. I shouldn't flop on you on this date. And you're so right. I'm not showing a lot of interest. I should reverse what I said about not going on this date, and we should go out on this date. And no, that's never going to happen. Okay. So what I want you to understand is, feeling your emotions, yes, is necessary, but let's also figure out how to channel the emotions in a way where you don't crash out, you don't go crazy, and the energy you use on your emotions is used in a way that actually benefits you, instead of being used in a way that frustrates you more and then causes you to go crazier, okay? So instead, let's say, for the sake of example, this text of him flopping on you really disappoints you. Instead of taking 1 minute to respond, how about we take one whole day, okay? One whole day to respond. And you want to know what will happen in that time span when you take 1 day, right? You will analyze your own emotions. I'll even put that here. You'll not only know the why you feel this way, but you'll also better understand the how, right? You'll have time to settle, right? Settle down in the sense that you'll have time for your emotion to not be so raw and unfiltered. And this is the most important part. So the reason I say think of delivery is because you have to understand, when you have an emotion, a thought, or a feeling, and you want to convey to someone else that is not you, not in your head, doesn't have your experience, you want to help them understand exactly how you feel. It's so important that you take some time to think about, how can I deliver this message to that person in a way that they can absorb it, receive it, decode it, understand it, and then actually act on it. The problem is, if you're responding to things in a minute, you're never going to be able to do all of this analyzing and thinking about how you're going to properly respond to this. And then by the time you do respond this way, without actually thinking about the process, you're going to be in a position where 1 week or a couple of days down the line, you'll be thinking back and you'll be saying, damn, I wish I would have said this, or I wish I would have said that, or I wish I would have done this. That would have been way better, a way better thing to do, right? But we don't want that. That's the problem with emotions sometimes. When they control you into taking an action that you wouldn't have regularly took if you actually had time to sit down and think, it actually ends up not benefiting you, right? The emotion, in the sense. Because when you actually have time to feel the emotion, analyze, allow yourself to just gather your thoughts, then by the time you do respond, it's so much more beneficial for you, what you want, and what you're trying to get done here. Also, you allow yourself to communicate your feelings and express them in a way that is more absorbable and receivable for the man, that he can then hopefully take action on it in a way that actually benefits the both of you. Because remember, you're not crashing out and yelling just to crash out and yell. You're crashing out and yelling just to hopefully get a change out of him. All right. Even if you don't scream, you don't yell, you don't curse, you get my gist, right? You're not going crazy just for the sake of doing that. You want him to change, or at least you want him to want to change. But the only way he's going to actually change is if the way that you communicate your feelings and emotions or what's bothering you to him is in a way that he can actually receive it. And I told you guys before, men don't receive crashing out as I need to make a change. They don't. Okay. So if you actually want men to make a change and move mountains for you, you have to remain unbothered to them at least. Doesn't mean you can't have emotions, but we want you to remain as we want your perception to be that you are unbothered. And then we want to take your energy, your emotion that you have that's building up within you, and we want to figure out how we can place it in other places, how we can keep it within you, or how we can express it in a way where it's a safe space to express that emotion. So that's what I'm trying to help you guys do, okay? So let's hop into our fifth and final point here. Super important in everything that we're trying to do. Okay. Am I making sense to you guys so far? Does that make sense? Someone said, I can't do sweet talks. It's cringe. You don't have to sweet talk no one. Okay. It's not about sweet talking. It's about allowing yourself the opportunity to take your own breather, right? And feel your own emotions. That way, when you finally do have a conversation with someone, you're coming from a place of actually being able to express how you feel instead of just going about it with the raw, hardcore emotion. Because when you're doing that, you're not actually expressing as much as you think you're expressing. And that person isn't actually taking in what you actually feel or why you actually feel that. All right. Let's go into number 5 that we might have to call number 5 stop pooping time, because this is so important. So important. Okay. I know I can't draw. It's okay. I know. Don't make fun of me. Okay. Do you guys know what this is? I don't even know if you guys will get this. Does anyone know what this is, what I'm drawing here? Whatever. Who cares? So I want you to understand. Please, for me, I love you, I care about you. We all feel things, okay? Being unbothered, yes, of course, we would love to all be so unbothered that nothing bothers us. The reality of it is things will bother you, especially the things that really trigger you, okay? That's not a crime here. What we don't want to happen is you making the mistake of allowing the fact that something did actually bother you, adding these elements that will make things worse exponentially, and then put you in a position where now that you're trying to recover, you're doing more things, trying to recover from the mistake that you made, the first time by adding all this fuel to the fire, that now you're kind of in a death spiral, as we would describe it as. So the reason I say power down, all of these things are like gasoline, okay? And if you allow these things here, right, to be external factors, they will pour themselves onto your emotions and make the fire of your emotions so much worse, okay? So what I'm actually telling you to power down is I'm telling you to power down the phone, power down the technology, step away from the technology, okay? Especially if you're in a place where you feel like you want to crash out. You really feel so, okay? Stepping away from the technology will always be your best bet, because that's the easiest, most comfortable place for you to go crazy, right? You send a bunch of angry texts, post some angry stories, post some quotes, some subliminal quotes, or hear some opinions from people who have absolutely no idea what you're going through, okay? Have no context to your situation, and you have no idea what their motive is in even giving you advice on a situation they know nothing about. This is why we want you to have a yap friend. We want you to have, as soon as you feel it bubbling inside you, you're like, oh, I want to crash out. You have hormones, right? So you can feel your body changing if you're having, it's your cycle, or if you're ovulating, you can feel it in you. When you're ovulating and you can feel it just coursing through your veins, it's in your blood. The same way, when you can feel the crash out coming, it's coming. You can feel it in your blood. You immediately say, okay, I need my yap friend. We need to sit down. We need to have a conversation. I need to get it off my chest, okay? And your yap friend should understand that that is their role in your life, that when you say, okay, I need a yap, or I just need to call you, we need a yap, oh, I need to FaceTime you, we need a yap, there it is. And you guys can have this conversation and you can get that crash out energy out of your system, okay? And your yap friend also understands this is getting your crash out energy out, right? And you guys allow each other to do that so that afterwards you can feel, okay, I don't need to send angry texts. I don't need to post quotes. I don't need to do anything outside of my regular everyday character. Yes, he disappointed me. Yes, he didn't show up for me. Yes, he did whatever he did. However, I'm still me. I'm still okay. I still have happiness. I still have lots of love in my life. It's not just his. And I will be perfectly fine whether he chooses to show up for me in my life or not. Okay? And I will allow him to choose whichever place in my life he wants to be in. Whether it's in my life because he's showing up for me how I expect, or if it's out of my life because he is not prepared to do that. Okay? You have to adopt this unbothered energy. You also have to make sure you don't make it easier for yourself to crash out by adding elements that will make it easier for you to crash out, okay? And a lot of stuff like this will make it so much easier. Anything that has to do a lot of times with social media will make it easier to crash out. I'll just put it basically for you like that, right? Because that is the easiest place to post things, to put subliminals, post videos, do shady stuff. All of that stuff is not going to allow you to be in the place that you want to be, which is in your unbothered energy. Because the weirdest, most craziest part about crashing out is when you finally do go crazy that first time. And I said it in the middle of the show. When you go crazy that first time, you actually start to feel a little bit of shame within yourself for going that crazy on a guy or showing yourself to be that bothered. And when you're trying to recover from that, when you're thinking to yourself, oh, how I acted there was really icky. Oh, I did go insane there and I gave him a lot of power knowing that, that bothered me that much. You're going to start trying to overcompensate by doing other things to try and gain some of that power back that you gave away while you were crashing out and going crazy on that guy. And that's when the death spiral starts. Because as you try to gain more power back because you went crazy and you didn't hold your unbothered energy and your unbothered stance, you start doing more and more things that make you look more and more bothered. So it's a vicious cycle of trying to recover from looking so bothered that you look more bothered trying to recover from looking so bothered, okay? And once you get into that death, trust me, if you've been there, you know it. Once you get into that death spiral, it's impossible to pull yourself out of, and you'll be doing such crazy stuff trying to make it look like you're not bothered when it's clearly obvious that you're only doing that because you're so bothered, okay? So we don't want that. We want you in your unbothered energy because truthfully and honestly, that's when the men have the space to come to you and decide for themselves if they want to be in your life and show up for you how they expect to show up for you, okay? Right? Once again, I want to make sure that we're all clear. This show, Unbothered Energy, is not at all about not feeling emotions. It's not at all about that. It's about understanding that your emotions should never be in control of you. And you also should never be giving, especially men that you're just dating, like they're not actually even your boyfriend. You should, even people in general, you shouldn't be giving them that power over you that when they do something, that disappoints you or hurts you, that you say to yourself, I'm going to go crazy and show you how much control you have over my emotions and over me by acting out or going insane or crashing out, as the kids would say. That's why I keep saying that. That's how the kids saying it now. They say crashing out, right? Does that make sense? Someone said this should be taught in school. Yeah, they don't teach you about emotions in school, but we talk about that in the Players Club. It's pretty funny. I feel like when people hear the Players Club, they probably think we only talk about super toxic stuff, but we talk about emotions the most on this show. That's pretty funny. Now, does that make sense to all you guys so far, and why that is important? Do you guys have any questions about anything that we discussed here today about crashing out and about being unbothered and how to do that properly? I like to give you guys practical advice that you can actually utilize in your life. I know it's great for us to talk about it, but I also want to give you guys actual things that you can use and actually repeat. You know what I mean? That you can go back and be like, okay, I'll do exactly that. All right. Flower says, I rage and cry in my bed at home where nobody sees or hears. That could be part of your process, but you also want to cleanse your soul and feel like you're actually getting it out as well by talking to someone about it. That's why you want that yacht friend, right? Oh, by the way, for those of you guys who missed any of the points that I talked about, because I know we went through all 5, you can always go, those of you on TikTok, you can always go on my YouTube channel. It's just above my head on the top right corner of the screen. Excuse me, Tomisin Atobatele, to go on my YouTube, because I'm live on YouTube at the same time as I am on TikTok, and you can rewatch this entire show and get all the points and stuff like that and save it for later and things in case you missed it. Okay, right? Please make sure you do that. So go on my YouTube for those of you guys who came late and you want to know the points because you missed some of them. Okay, I don't want you guys to miss this. It's very important, right? Carla says, isn't acting unbothered always not being myself at all? Won't he just fall in love with someone I'm not? Once again, it's not being unbothered is not about not feeling the emotion. It's about understanding how to channel the emotion in a way that actually benefits you. You can express it. We just don't want you going crazy on that guy, because you're giving him so much power when you go crazy on him, letting him know how bothered you actually are. And the reality of it is, if you've been here for a while, the other members of the Players Club know this. When you actually crash out on a guy, or you over-explain and you tell him all the ways that he hurt you, they never end up changing anything anyways. They just either deny it, they gaslight you, or they tell you how your perspective is not the real perspective. So what's the point, right? You don't actually end up getting changed that way anyways. So it's a way better for you to act unbothered. That way they don't have that power over you, and they don't feel like they have power over you, because once they know your triggers, especially when you're dating guys that you don't know them, right? You really don't know them. Once you start showing men your deepest triggers very early on, they understand how to push your buttons. And you understand you're giving them actually the keys to the kingdom by helping people know what your insecurities are and how to push your buttons, because now they actually know how to control you. Literally, right? They just control you emotionally now. So it's very important that you keep those close to the chest. And even when you are bothered, you have people, or you have a plan and a structure in place where you can be bothered in a way that doesn't affect your romantic relationship. Are you following me? Does that make sense? So someone says they use it against us later. It's very important. Mim says, I lost this game already. It's okay. Now that you're learning, you're getting better, you're growing, you'll eventually become a pro, you'll become an expert, and you won't miss this game. You won't mess up, okay? Fire says, so how do you respond when he misbehaved? I actually have a whole show. It's about how to set boundaries, and then we had another show about kind of how to treat men whenever they do wrong. So you got to go on my YouTube. I forget what that show is called. I have a show literally about setting boundaries and what to do exactly when he does that wrong. So just type in my name and then type in boundaries, and you'll see the shows on that. Okay. Ashley says, I feel like the guy I'm dating is playing games by trying to get a reaction out of me. Oh, this is very good. He keeps saying he wants to see me and he misses me, but won't set a date time like previously. It's annoying. So I'm so glad that you brought that up, Ashley, because I want you guys to understand men will actually attempt to get you to crash out, to get you to go crazy, right? And I don't think that this doesn't happen because men are too emotionally stunted or stupid to want to do this. Men understand If they can get you to go crazy, that means that you care. If you care, that's also a sign of control. If you care about me, that you're willing to go crazy over something I did or said or didn't do or didn't say, I know you like me, I know you want me, and I know you couldn't just care if you didn't actually want me or want this relationship. And the only way you wouldn't react or be unbothered is if you didn't care. So sometimes I want you guys to understand, guys will attempt to get you to go crazy on them because they want to see if you really care or not. The really important part of that, because relationships are kind of like war, everyone wants control. The really important part of that is to make sure you stay unbothered all the time. You never allow yourself to go crazy because I'm telling you, they want you to go crazy. Guys never sit around at a table talking to each other and saying, oh, bro, she went crazy on me and she did this. Anytime guys are talking to each other and they're talking about how crazy a girl went on them, it's an ego boost to them. Okay, I want you guys to understand that. They're never saying it from the standpoint of, I'm so sad my girl went crazy on me. So disappointing. I want to make sure she doesn't go crazy. No, they're actually happy about it. They're happy about it from the standpoint of they know that that means my girl cares. If they were to have to tell their boys a story of how you didn't react or didn't respond, you want to know what all their friends would look like? They'll be like, oh no. They're all going to look like it's a funeral. They'll say, oh my God, bro, I'm so sorry. I think your girl's cheating on you. Oh my God, what are you going to do? You lost her. You did this and she, it's over for you. You're cooked, bro, right? That's how they respond when you're unbothered. They get worried. They get frantic. They start feeling like, I need to change something. We got to investigate. They start chasing after you. When you act bothered and you act crazy, they're like, oh, I'm the man. Who cares? Let's play video games, guys. So what's the point, right? The emotions are great, but what's the point of going crazy on the guy? He just takes it and says, oh, I'm the man. Why change, right? He gets the ego boost, right? Future says, I like how Tomisin says they and not we. Oh yeah, sometimes I do that because I'm in your perspective so much. I'll say we, not instead of they. Okay, I just do that accidentally. I'm like putting myself in your shoes. Okay. Noel says, if you struggle with losing control of your emotions, this is probably then therapy or meds are needed. Well, I mean, theoretically, sure. I never advise taking medication to solve your problems because I just don't think that that actually solves your problems. But therapy for sure, in theory. Can we all afford therapy? Are we all in a position to go to therapy just because, you know, we need it? No. So I try to give you guys practical advice that you can apply for free without actually having to like go to therapy or do something that some people might not have the resources to do. You understand what I'm saying? And I think that there's a strategy for most things that doesn't always require you to like necessarily pay for something, you know what I mean? Or pay for meds or pay for therapy, right? Okay. You guys are funny. Someone said I have deactivated my Facebook account for him to not peep or talk to me. Is that a sign of weakness? No. For those of you that know you are crash out heavy on Facebook or Snapchat or Instagram, okay? If you know the moment a guy bothers you, you go straight to Justin LeBoy's page on Instagram and you start posting a Justin LeBoy quote on a white background with black text, you should avoid, okay? Whatever you need to do to avoid that app, to avoid doing that, do it. So if you need to deactivate your IG, deactivate your Facebook for a little bit, you know, just so you don't even have the temptation to do it, please. More power to you, do it. So that you're not tempted or you don't fall into the same cycle. Because I always tell you guys, it's like a monster. Once you feed that monster, right? You want to crash out, you want to go crazy. Once you feed that monster once, it becomes bigger and bigger and bigger and harder to fight off. Don't do it, okay? Don't do it. Doesn't help anything, doesn't benefit anything, doesn't even put you in a better position in the end, okay? Right? Someone said, so I keep stalking him. Exactly. So if you keep stalking him and you can't stop yourself, you have to cut it off, right? Lida says, all therapists are going to live on the streets since we know you. That's pretty funny. That's actually really funny, okay? Evan Peters' wife says, I posted his fave song yesterday and he posted mine. It's funny. So quite the conundrum you're in, okay? Quite the conundrum you're in over social media. All right, chat. Let's hop into our next segment of the day. By the way, okay, I'm going to make you guys aware. If you have a personal question for me, obviously there's lots of comments, so many people in the chat. It's no way for me to answer everyone's specific, unique situation here in one show. I'd be here for 10 hours. If you have a personal question for me that you really want me to answer about your relationship or your situationship, a lot of you have been taking advantage of this, and I'm glad you are. That's why I'm having to catch up on so many messages. Send me a personal message, and I will respond to you via voice message, and I'll send it back to your email, okay? I built a system for you guys to guarantee getting a response from me, and if you want some advice on your relationship, because you guys know I'm getting messages every single day, hundreds of people a day from everywhere. But I put a system, if you're serious and you really want to ask me a question and get advice from me on your situation, go to the link in my bio on TikTok or the link in my description on YouTube. Click where it says personal or private relationship advice. You click that link and you can send in your full question. And with your question, when you send it in, it's going to automatically prompt you when you send it in with your donation, right? It's a small donation to the show. You send it in, and then when you send in your question, I respond to you via your email, and I send you back a voice message. But obviously, it's a guaranteed response because I know when you do it that way, I know you're very serious about your situation and getting your response. So I make sure that that system is in place for those of you who really want a question answered from me. So go ahead and do that if you have a question for me, because we're going to hop into our next segment. By the way, if you also have a question, maybe you want me to read it out on the show so you can help other people as well, you can go ahead and drop your question in our Discord section, because we're going to get to our Discord questions at the end of the show as well. But that will be on the show. So keep that in mind. If you drop your question in our relationship advice forum in our Discord, I'm going to read it on the show. So everyone's going to see it as well. So you can do that by going into my TikTok bio or the link in my bio on YouTube, and then you can go into Discord, into our Discord, put it in our free section, or if you want to get your premium questions shifted to the front of the line, go into our premium relationship advice section, and then you have to go through our premium Discord link, okay? So don't worry. If you have questions, our mods will show you how to do that, all right? Let's hop into our next segment of the day, which is our React segment. I'm going to be reacting to TikTok clips you have sent to me that we're going to be reacting to about relationships and situationships and love and all that good stuff. And we're going to have conversations about those. While I clean up a little bit and set up our React segment, spam up your headphone emojis, spam up your camera emojis, spam up your baby oil emojis. Okay, I don't know why I say that. And we're going to hop into our React segment. I'm going to play a little intermission video for you guys, which comes from a creator called Matt Boggs. And while I'm cleaning up, it's only going to take me a minute. He's going to talk to you guys about things you do naturally that make men chase you. And while Matt Boggs is talking, I'm going to clean up. I'll be back in a second, and we'll start our React.
C. The C stands for cultivate an open heart. Cultivate an open heart. Why do we say cultivate? Because if you're at this stage in your love life and you're dating and you're attracting new people, chances are you've had pain in the past. Chances are you've had hurt in the past. Open heart. Why do we say cultivate? Because if you're at this stage in your love life and you're dating and you're attracting new people, chances are you've had pain in the past. Chances are you've had hurt in the past. You may have had betrayal in the past. We have all gone through some really horrible stuff. There's a natural effect that happens when we're guarding ourselves, right? We put up this wall to protect ourselves from getting hurt. And that is the only men that come into our orbit are people that we're not attracted to. So you're finding all these guys online who aren't guys you would date. They're not quality guys. Like you see all their attributes and whatnot, and you're like, oh my gosh, I would never date any of those guys. The guys you meet in real life, you would never date those guys. What is that? Well, that is a vibration that you're putting out that's only making welcome guys who you wouldn't date. Why? To keep you safe. Because if you wouldn't date them, you don't have to open your heart to take a risk to possibly getting hurt again. And there's one more fascinating dynamic with this when we're closed. And that is the only people that our system will allow us to feel attraction for are those who aren't reciprocating that attraction back, or who are emotionally unavailable and eventually won't actually allow us in to their lives either. And so it's this brilliant mechanism, really, when you think about it, on how to keep us safe. So the way to actually cultivate where people are pursuing you, and it's not the wrong people, it's actually the right people, is to begin with having an open heart. Cultivate that open heart, which means to do the work of releasing the past, to do the work of healing that heartache, to create that space of resilience in you that you know that you can move forward and you can create a different outcome. And if there is heartache along the way, that you will be okay. That place of freedom and openness is incredibly attractive. Now, that's just one subconscious block that keeps love away. If you're curious about maybe how to overcome that block, or if you have other love blocks that you feel like are repelling the relationship you want, I've done an entire course on this called Break Free. I'll put a link in the description below so you can check out that course and really discover and learn.
Let's hop into our React segment where I'm going to be, thank you, Matt Box.
How to release any love.
Thank you, Matt Box. Okay, so let's do our React segment now. Time for us to react to some of these things you guys have sent to me. Where did we leave off here? I think we left off here, so... Did we? No. You guys sent me so much. So little time. Let's start here.
Okay, here is absolutely definitive proof that no matter how old any man that you're talking to is, if they do not mature when they're younger, they do not mature with age. So, my mom has known this gentleman for a very long time. Let's call it 40 plus years of friendship. This man has been married for almost all of that time. They've just been friends, whatever. By the way, I do not like this man whatsoever. Every time I've talked to him, he's just very disingenuous.
Friends for 40 years. Let's see where the story goes.
But you know me, obviously.
Son doesn't like him. I wonder why. Let's see where the story goes.
I have like a little sixth sense when it comes to men and disgusting secrets and blah, blah. And I was obviously right, but let me not spoil anything. Anyway, this man is married, has been married for 30 plus years. And a while ago, I'm with my mom and she gets a phone call from him. And I'm like, ugh, I don't like this guy, blah, blah. Anyway, she puts him on speaker because my mom is hilarious. And he goes, hey, I think I'm leaving my wife. And my mom goes, what are you talking about? You're crazy. And he goes, yeah, like, honestly, I'm not happy. She's not happy. I think I'm leaving her. 30 years, blah, blah, blah. That was like 6 months ago. I find out the reason he's leaving the marriage has nothing to do with him. His wife found his phone in which he had been texting a worker, okay, who he is convinced, by the way, she's like my age, and he's like 70, who he is convinced is in love with him. They're in a relationship. And every time they hang out, there is an exchange of currency. This man is north of 70. And if you think that as men get older, they mature, you're insane. Okay, here is absolutely definitive proof that no matter how old any man...
I talked to you guys about this a couple of weeks ago, that I know some people say this idea that, oh, you shouldn't be your man's therapist. Don't and I just finished telling you, right? If you're unbothered, find you a yacht friend. But on the opposite sense, remember, we want you to have as much power as possible. Shh, don't tell anyone. I want you to be your man's yacht friend. Be his therapist. Be the person that he confides in and wants to tell everything to. You want to know why? Because with that information, you have so much power and you have so much understanding. You don't want to be in a situation where your man doesn't feel comfortable telling you things or saying things to you that you're not quite sure where he stands, what he's feeling, or what he wants in that moment. And the reason I say that is because I know that some women, based on helping hundreds of you, I know that some women have been in situations where they've been essentially blindsided by what their guy was feeling or thinking. And it wasn't only until the end that they realized this entire time their man was thinking or feeling something totally different than they were. I'll never say that's totally one person's fault or the other, but what I will say is you will always be more aware of subtle changes when you are your man's therapist. Because when you know his baseline, anything that strays from that will be very obvious if he already is in the business of telling you everything all the time. When you're kind of like, okay, well, I don't want to be his therapist. I don't want to, ask him so many questions. If he doesn't want to talk, I guess we just won't talk about anything. That's when you can start to miss some things. And then all of a sudden you wake up one day and this guy's like, oh yeah, I want to go marry a SMEX worker. And you're like, you were seeing a SMEX worker? You know what I mean? Like, I don't want you to be shocked out of nowhere. When you're someone's therapist, it's very easy to see the subtle changes, okay? Then you can do with that information whatever you want to do, okay? Michaela says, but if we're their yacht friend, do we always have to be available? No, not necessarily, right? I mean yacht friend in the sense that you just want him to gain a level of comfortability in telling you anything and confiding in you. Right? And you can take that information with you and use it however you want to use it, right? But it's more beneficial for you and it puts you in a position of power to be the person that he comes to for everything on his mind and has to do with his emotions. And you allow yourself to go to him for some things, right? Until you realize you can trust him. When you can trust your man and you know he's your boyfriend and you guys are actually in a long-term serious relationship, it's a totally different story. But when you're dating someone, you don't want to be confiding in a guy that you're not sure if he's actually here for the right reasons yet. You know what I mean? So there's a process to building up that trust and allowing yourself to eventually confide in him when he's your boyfriend. But I say that to say in any scenario, you should always want to be your man's therapist, right? Like his sexy therapist.
When a girl is fresh out of a long-term relationship, she's going to wild out for about 1 to 2 months. Okay, that's your window of opportunity for real. That's your best chance. I was in a situation where this girl was dating her boyfriend for 4 years. The whole time I was playing the supportive friend role. I never made a move, but anytime her boyfriend messed up, she would come to me and I would let her know, like, listen, he's not treating you right. Boom, they end up breaking up. She's out the relationship. She texts me, she wants to hang. So I'm sending her like date ideas and cute activities to do. She's like, listen, I just want to have fun. When I heard those words, I knew exactly what type time she was on, but it shocked me because I was like, wow, I didn't know you were like this. But it makes sense because she wants to release all that pent up energy she has from being locked down so long. Don't miss your window though, because after those 1 to 2 months go by, after that fun phase, she's going right back to seriously dating, okay? It doesn't last forever. That's why you have to be on your shit, okay? As soon as she gets out of her relationship, I'm always the first to know. My friends will be texting me, yo, you see so-and-so took down the pictures with her boyfriend? Yeah, she did that 6 days ago. Keep up. And that's why she posted that gym selfie on her story 4 days ago. She's looking for attention. And guess who swiped up? Yours truly. If you ain't first, you're last, okay? I'm not the best, but I'm the quickest. I'm super fast. When a girl is fresh out of a long-term
Sorry. I'll say it again. Whoever sent this to me, I'm glad you sent this because I actually like this. What he's talking about is actually exactly how guys operate. It's just that most guys won't admit to operating like this. You understand what I'm saying? So he's actually sharing with you real information that guys use to get what they want out of you. So when they're sitting around in your friendship because they just want to casually hang out and, oh, we're just so close that I just can't give up this friendship. And I just, I think you're such a good person. They say lots of stuff like that. The guys know what they're doing. There are some guys who do it and they're like this guy, they know what they're doing and they're just honest about why they're doing it. And then there are some guys who do it and they're not even honest with themselves about why they're doing it because they just are like in this complete denial that, oh, I just love our friendship because I love this friendship. I don't mean any harm by really and truthfully. If you weren't attractive to them, they wouldn't be as invested in your friend. It's just the truth. It's just the truth. So some guys will be while you're in a relationship, they'll play this side role of a friend to you, which is exactly why I just told you all, don't make your yacht friend a straight man. Okay? Just know this to the straight men, because I'm a straight man, obviously, but don't make your yacht friend a straight man because you don't know what his actual motives are. So you might be thinking to yourself, oh, my yacht friend is a straight man, we're getting along and this and that. And in reality, he's thinking to himself, let me advise her to crash out or do something that will cause this relationship to end. That way I can get a chance with her. I'm being so serious. Like, that actually happens. I'm telling you this for real, for real. I have other guy friends who have done this. So let me not even, like, I'm telling you this really happens. All right. But this is a funny video that you guys sent to me.
Hey, babe. How you doing, beautiful?
I'm good.
Good. Oh my God, you look amazing.
Thank you.
Wow.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, listen, babe. I gotta be honest with you real quick.
You have a surprise?
Like, kinda. Look, I don't like telling you this, but like, I really was excited for our date tonight and to take you out to a nice dinner, but I was just like looking at like bank account after bills and everything, and I don't got it like that right now, babe. Like, I don't know if I can take you out to a really nice dinner tonight. Sorry.
No, babe. Don't be sorry. It's okay. I brought my purse tonight and I have my card. I just got paid.
Babe.
No, I mean, I just got paid. I mean, if I'm eating, you're eating, babe.
But it's my job. I want to take care of you, babe.
No, babe, but it's okay. You remember how we talked about 80-20?
We did talk about 80-20.
Yeah, you're my man. You're my partner, baby. I got it, babe. I literally got it. It's okay.
No,
No, let me treat you, babe. I've actually been wanting to take you out on a date, actually.
You mean it?
Yeah, baby.
I love you so much. You're the sweetest person I've ever met.
I love you too.
I love you so much. Thank you for understanding.
Of course.
Oh, you're so good to me. I love you.
Okay, cool video. Sorry, you guys know me, my brain, I'm weird, okay? So I'm gonna talk, like the weirdo I am. Whenever people post a video like this, I always wonder to myself, why are they not reacting to the camera? She's looking past him, but the camera's clearly like right, in front of his face. Why is she not reacting to the camera at all from like the getting into the car? I just feel like that's a strange reaction if it's real, okay? Someone said it's giving skit. You guys are funny. That's my same thought, right? Because my natural reaction when I'm even talking to someone, even if, I'm comfortable with that person, if they start talking to me like this, I'm going to look like, why are you like recording while you're... My natural reaction when someone's talking to me is not to just look past the camera as if I'm a Kardashian on a reality show. But whatever, to each his own. Maybe that's their way of doing it, and it's just not a weird thing. But I just feel like that would also change the reaction, even if she knew he was recording, right? It's like, well, my reaction is going to be curated because it's whatever. Anyways, who cares? I care about the wrong stuff. Great video. You know what? Great. Honest, amazing.
If you think that men leave after women cheat, you have not had enough life experiences. Now, this do not have nothing to do with me, nothing to do with my man and my relationship. However, I have witnessed, seen, experienced multiple men staying after they caught their girlfriends cheating. Multiple times. Yes.
Can someone explain to me why she has a sticky note on her chest like that? Is this like a new thing, like a new trend? I don't know. I'm not up on all the trends. Is that a new trend? Sticky note on the chest? Yeah.
I have seen that all the time. And then you would think, oh, he's only staying with her because he's about to dog her out. He's about to get his get back. He's about to act a fool. He's about to hurt her feelings and yada, 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 yada. Nope, absolutely not. They get to acting right. I've seen it with my own two eyes. I've seen a woman cheat, get caught, and the men start acting right after that. Because then they realize, like, oh, shit, other people do want her. Oh, shit, she can't scoop. You know what I'm saying? She can't pull her. She can't do a dick or two. They get to acting right. I've seen it with my own two eyes. Whatever they say and they mumbled and they told you on the first date and the second date that they don't accept that and da-da-da-da-da. Let me be the first one to tell you they a fuck lie. If they never been through it, they can't tell you what they would do in that situation. And the niggas be saying. So do with that information what you think or whatever. But
I think it's because Okay, two reasons I think that happens, because I do agree that definitely does happen sometimes, depending on the guy. The reason I think it happens, one, the shame of feeling like, damn, like I really got done dirty by a girl, and obviously the ego hit of knowing that another man, was with my girl. So the shame attached to that, you don't want to tell other people that. So you almost like want to stay as a way of like not having to tell people that that's the reason that you guys broke up. So in a weird way, there's shame there. Then the other thing, excuse me, as well, is kind of the aspect of what we talk about in the Players Club, where we talk about when you put guys in a position where they feel like they need to prove to you something, that's when they start putting their best foot forward. So it's kind of the same idea here. When obviously, if you're in a position where you're the woman and you're cheating on your man and he catches you, well, now all of a sudden he's the one that feels inadequate and not good enough. So now he's in a position where he feels the need to prove something to you, like he's good enough. I'm not saying go cheat on your man at all. But what I'm saying is, based on what she's saying, that's kind of the concept behind why some men will stay, right? The shame, and then also the feeling of inadequacy, that I need to prove something to her now because I've lost her, basically, right? And so that's why some of those men stay, in my opinion. Maybe for them it's a completely different reason. I couldn't actually tell you for sure because I've never been like cheated on while I was in a relationship. So maybe it's different for the guys when they're actually experiencing it.
So I mentioned that I want a boyfriend and I'm going to be working hard to get a boyfriend. What I mean by working hard is like, I'm not even trying right now. Like, I'm not even going out in general. I am almost done with grad school. I'm so sick. And then I just had surgery. I just feel like my body like hates me right now. But something that you guys asked is like, how are you going to be meeting these people? Now, I hate dating apps. It's unauthentic to me. I know it works. I've like had friends and family members that it's
She's a smart cookie.
even worked on. So I know it does work. However, for me, whenever I've tried it, it just has not worked out and it just doesn't feel right for me, just because I know myself and I am really shy. Like, it takes a hot second for me to be myself. So I wonder if I could just like meet these people first and then just kind of be myself, then we can transition to dating. Like, that's ideal for me. This one girl that I love that I follow, Greta, she was like saying like, if I was single, this is what I would do. I would go to a different bar every night, something like that. I don't drink, and also I don't want to say like,
same,
I met my guy at a bar. Like, I don't drink. So like, why would I do that? When I was using the Superhuman app, I told you guys I was going to do that visualization every day. I just feel like what I visualize is just like a more organic, wholesome vibe. And so what I'm going to be doing is like settling here in California. I'm going to be moving somewhere else and just like kind of creating my long-term home, because I do love California. But this next year for me, because I can, is going to be full of traveling and full of like trying to meet new people, going out, and just like physical, because I've been virtual for the last year. And when men ask me out, I don't text them back. Because
Vibes.
I like predetermine everything and like something's off that I don't like. I also want someone of my faith as well. So I would love to just start going to more church activities and like going to different wards and things, so I could just meet different people. So that I'm going to be prioritizing that. And just like, yeah, I want someone who's in line with me. And again, I think at this point in my life, I'm getting a little scarcity minded of, I'm like, well, who's left? Like, I should compromise a couple of things. And at the end of the day, like, my non-negotiables shouldn't be compromised. So, I mean, doing that visualization every day, and I'm just, praying and giving it to God, because ultimately, like, he knows perfect timing. I'm spiritual. So anyway, let me know in the comments.
So I actually think she's going about this in a really great way, in my estimation, because what she's doing here is she's allowing, and what I advise you to do, if you're asking me what you should do to find the right guy you're looking for, use your interests and your passions to guide you to the places where you're going to spend majority of your time, and then allow those places where you're spending your time to help you find and discover new groups of people, or join a community of like-minded people. And then through that avenue, let that be like your dating app, right? That be the place where you're constantly meeting new people, or, being able to like experience conversations and friendships and, shared interests with people and have conversation. And eventually maybe you'll find someone there that you kind of flock to or you gravitate towards, right? And allow those interests and passions to guide you to where you should be spending that time. I personally think that's the best way to go about it, because the moment you do meet that person, one, you already know you have at least one shared interest or activity because you meet them in that same place. And then two, you don't feel that subconscious pressure that, oh my God, we're here on a date and I feel like I have to ask you 1,000 questions and be so prepared to date you. You can more feel like, okay, like let's just have a conversation about whatever we're here for. So if she likes to go to church, if it's painting, you can do that, right? If it's, I don't know, drawing class or a book club or whatever it may be, right, that you enjoy doing. And you'll find it a lot less anxiety inducing when you're in a situation where you can have conversations with people, even people that you're attracted to, but it doesn't necessarily have to be about, so you're single, tell me about, your last 10 relationships and when you want to get married, right? That can be a little bit anxiety inducing, I know, for the shy people, right? So that's actually, keep it a secret. That's what my whole big, large project is about. That's the conundrum that I'm trying to solve for you all. But we won't talk about that now. That's for another day, okay?
You want to know how to act when he ghosts you and then comes back, how to reply to him, what to say. Let me tell you a story before I tell you what to say. He's seeing you. You're treating him like a rock star. He's amazing. He's incredible. It's all fairy tales and it's just so juicy and lovely. You're now his fan. He's a rock star. He's starting to think, oh my God, I'm loving myself. I could probably do even better. She's not the be all and end all. There's so many women, many fish in the sea. I'm going to go out and see what I can do. So he ghosts you. He goes out, he does whatever he needs to do. And then, oh my God, he is not all he thought he was. For 2 weeks, he's maybe dated a girl, called another one, went out, and oh my God, his ego needs feeding again, because you're not exactly the right one for him, but you are somebody who makes him feel really good. He's come back and he's texted you, hey babe, how are you? WID, what you doing? What should we do? So my question to you is this. You're born as you. This is your life. You get to navigate your own story and write your own book. How are you going to reply? Oh my God, hi, I'm so excited to hear from you. Yes, let's hang out, because I am so excited to be just like picked 3rd, 4th, 5th, 500th. If you do that, God bless you, do it. I don't mind. But make sure you know your position and your role. Don't complain about it later, because that's the worst thing. If you pick your position and you know your role, and then you're complaining about it and asking him all the time why he ghosts you, and asking him all this stuff and asking him to act different, why? You're signing up as an adult to this situation. I know what I would do, because I don't really want to play that game and play like 4th, 5th, 6th. I want to be number one to somebody, and somebody's out there who thinks of me as number one. So that's the person I would choose. So if somebody ghosts me, I would understand that they have realized that I am nice to have around, but not the best. So when they come back to me, I'm not going to be angry. I'm not going to write them a soliloquy, a monologue about how rude they are. They're not rude. They just made life choices which I do not necessarily agree with being made on my expense. So how I would act is bored, because it's boring. Who is this person? I'm not going to entertain him. I could say hi back if I want to, but I probably won't want to. You know why? Because I'll be busy doing my own thing, building my own life, living this one life I get. One life. Are you crazy?
I would advise you guys, for those of you guys who are saying, well, how long is too long? How short is too short? My advice to you, if you're dating, talking to a guy, and he goes more than 2 weeks, 14 days, okay? More than 14 days not speaking to you, radio silence, right? Doesn't message you about anything, doesn't ask you out nowhere, doesn't, even really have casual check-in with you. Just go ahead and let it go. Just let it go. And I mean let it go from the standpoint that if he messages you after that, you're probably just best served not moving on, or sorry, not even messaging him back, because at that point, like 2 weeks of him not speaking to you, it definitely is not that much of a priority for him. So if he is speaking to you now after those 2 weeks, it's probably because either he needs something from you, or he wants something from you, or now you can serve him. But like, that's not going to serve you to be in a situation where he can just jump in and out as he feels like it. Okay, 2 weeks is quite the. I feel like that's like the threshold where after that amount of time of not speaking to someone, you're just gonna have to say, yeah, it's cooked now. It's cooked now. It's cooked. Okay. Let's go on to our next one.
The best way to detach from someone that really hurt you, that you can't seem to let go of, is to stop caring. Why are you caring about someone that can't even do the
We just talked about this.
bare minimum? Ask yourself, what do you actually love about this person? Are you in love with the mistreatment, or are you in love with the perception that you've built up in your head that's not even real? Who they are is directly shown through their actions. Stop trying to explain to someone how you feel, because they don't have the mental capacity to understand. They hear you. They just don't want to be better because they don't care. They don't see the incentive to change because you've always been there. Stop caring about whether they find someone else, whether they treat someone better. None of that even matters, because realistically, the only thing that matters is the way they treated you. They will rarely change for anyone else. They haven't worked on themselves. So if they don't work on themselves, what makes you think that they're going to be any different in their new relationship? The only reason you can't detach is because you tolerated that behavior for so long, to the point where you think that's all you deserve. But the moment you start to put yourself on that pedestal and you walk away from people that don't align with what you want, is the moment that you start to attract everything that you desire. You attract what you are. Your outer world is a reflection of your inner world. So find peace within yourself. Know that you're going to be okay. Know that you're worthy. Know that you're very special. If this person is meant for you, they will always come back. They will always run back. What is the point in chasing someone that doesn't want to be kept? The more you chase, the more they resist. You're struggling to let go because your identity was conjoined to them. You didn't know what your goals are. You didn't know what you enjoyed spending your time doing. You didn't even have a life of your own. You sacrificed everything for the sake of them, and now it's time to give back to yourself. Be proud of yourself. Do you understand how precious time actually is? Do you understand how much time you are wasting, overthinking, worrying, investing in the wrong people, when you could easily invest in yourself? You are the one that requires the love. There's nothing that anyone can give you that you can't give yourself.
Cool. So this is actually just like what we talked about today. And I kind of go about it a different way. I like to give, like that step by step. So what can you do then? But I think I agree with a lot of what is her name? Mina? Or Min? Okay, Min says in her video here, because it really, the moment you allow someone to dictate your happiness and be the sole source of your happiness, that's the moment that they will take advantage of that, because there's a lot of power in that. I always tell you guys, relationships is like war, okay? You can't give out too much control, because if you give out too much control, that person will be able to dictate how things go. You want to be in control. That's what being part of the Players Club is about. Understanding how to gain control for yourself, so that then you can utilize it how you want to utilize it, okay? I seen someone say in a comment not too long ago on my YouTube channel, they were like, Tomisin teaches you basically the manipulation tactics and, how you can get control for yourself. You can use it to get long-term relationships. You can use it to get money out of men. You can use it to play men. He just lets you take it to do whatever you want with it, which is actually really true. It's actually a really good explanation. I give you the advice so that you can extract whatever you want to extract out of your relationships, okay? No matter what it is. I'm not here to judge what you want out of it, but I will give you the advice and the way to get there, right? And the start is always control. So whatever you want to use that control for is your choice, really. So, all right, let's hop into our next segment of the day. You guys should know what segment is coming up here if you're a OG member, okay? Very special segment. It's an amazing time. It's an awesome time. It's a time where you're going to laugh and you're going to cry. Don't look at your clock. Don't look at your watch. Don't look at your phone. Don't look nowhere else. In your home. If you don't know the time, I'm going to tell you the time. time. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I'm like the Kool-Aid man. Oh yeah. All right, chat. Let's hop into the Discord time. For those of you who don't know what this is, I'll explain it to you real quick. Discord time is essentially where all the amazing members of the Players Club get an opportunity to ask me a question about their situationship or their relationship, and I answer it live on the show. Now, you have a couple of different ways of submitting your question. I'm going to explain them all to you real quick here. We have our free section here, which is available by going into the link in my bio on TikTok or the link in my description on YouTube. You drop your question into our Discord here in the free section. Now you can see all these highlighted ones I haven't answered yet. So, oh wow, we have a lot more. Okay, so the highlighted ones I haven't got to yet. So it's gonna take me a while to get to your question if you send it in today. If you don't wanna wait for me to have to take, it's probably gonna take me like a week to get to your question if you put it in today. If you don't wanna wait that long, you also have another option, which is our premium relationship advice section. You access that, very important, don't abuse this. You access this by going into the link in my bio on TikTok or the link in my description on YouTube. Click where it says premium relationship advice, okay, the Discord advice. You're gonna, you have to prompt it to donate to the show. In your donation, it's gonna force you, before you can send in your donation, it's gonna force you to put your Discord username and the title of your question. I get a notification on my phone and it confirms to me that that's you and that's your question. That way I know that your question is supposed to be in there. And then I answer your question and it's like a skip the line pass. So before I go into the free section, I do these premium questions first. And they get to skip the line. So if you want to skip the line of people instead of waiting your turn, you can do that with our premium relationship advice section. Now, if you're someone that you want to get your question answered by me, but you don't want to have it, be on the show, you can also send me in a private relationship question here, which is available. A lot of you guys have been doing that, which is really great. You can send me in a private relationship advice question. It's in the Discord there. It's also the link in my bio. You go where it says private relationship advice. It's also the link in my description where it says private relationship advice. You send in your question. I respond to your email and I send in a voice message back to your email. Okay. So you have plenty of different options there. Let's go to our first question, which comes from Lay. Okay. Friends with benefits gone wrong. Okay, we're gonna start like this. This is the first day of the week. Hi, Tomisin. So last year I met a guy. He's 38. I'm 29. We met briefly at the bar I work at. I'm a bartender on weekends. He's a friend of my boss, and I thought he was cute, so I asked my boss about him, and he hooked us up. It's Monday. It's Monday. I tell you, chat, okay? Class, students, I tell you guys to never do this. Never put men in a position of relaxation by having them know that you are seeking them out, whether it be approaching them, because I guarantee you, because I know how guys are. I guarantee you, if you went up to your boss, assuming your boss is a man, okay? If you went up to your boss and he's friends with this guy, and you told your boss that you thought he was cute, you want to know what he said? Bro, one of my employees thinks you're sexy as fuck. And she's trying to smash. Yeah. No, the one that worked. Yeah, the one from last night. Yeah. She was looking at you the whole night. She wants you, bro. Yeah, she's got the fatty too. I'm telling you, she's one of my best employees. She got the fatty. Yeah, bro, you got it. Go for that. Yeah. She's nice. I'm telling you. That's how guys talk to each other. I'm telling you, right? That's how he communicated that to him. It wasn't, take her out on a date. Make sure you treat her really nice. She's, such a great human being and I love her so much. Please don't mess it. No. It wasn't like that at all. So this is why I say, don't do this. Okay? Especially don't get the guy to tell the other guy that you want him, because he's going to add so much sauce to it. He's not even going to be able to respect you by the time your boss is finished adding so much sauce to it, because they're boys. Okay? We went on 2 very nice dates. Well, you sent your question in, so let's see how it goes. But on the second date is where I messed up and slept with him. I was drunk and wasn't thinking straight. Okay, we're gonna venture off in a tragedy, so let's take a pre-stretch. Okay, we'll take a pre-stretch because when we start off like this, okay, met him at a bar, I approached him, or I told his friend I thought he was cute, and I slept with him on the second date. We were approaching tragedy land, so we'll take a stretch. We'll take a stretch, yeah. Okay, all right. Let's get my chakras realigned, mentally prepared. We're Monday here, and we're sleeping with men on the second date. Okay, a bit of advice, Lay, that I have to point out. This whole I was drunk thing, or I got too drunk and I did this or did that, okay, this has to end, all right? I mean this from the standpoint of there's nothing wrong with drinking, nothing wrong with smoking. You can do what you want to do. But if you find yourself regretting the person that you are or the decisions you make in that state, you need to rethink your decisions here, because you can't undo these things from the standpoint of, especially once you have to take things serious from the very beginning. Once you go down the path of not presenting yourself the way you want to be seen, it's very difficult to, after a couple of months, try to undo everything that you've shown him from the very beginning, because you're laying foundation here. And when you lay foundation like this, it's the rest of your sober life, you're going to spend recovering, trying to rebuild your reputation or reshape it. It's very difficult. Anyways, I wanted us to both be serious, but after sleeping with him so early, it kind of became just friends with benefits situationship. So you basically shot yourself in the foot. So it's like, is the drinking really worth it? He's not a big texter at all. We text when we want to see each other. We never do small talk like at all. Not even phone calls. Oh boy. Okay. So like there's no connection whatsoever aside from putting his pee-pee inside you and jackrabbiting himself inside of you. No connection. So anyway, one day after a few months of seeing each other regularly, I slept over at his place. In the bathroom, I found a girl's stuff, a hairbrush, hair straightener, etc. And it made me jealous. So I asked him, and he said that's his ex stuff, and he like sees her sometimes. Casual response. Yeah, that stuff on the counter, in my bathroom, that makeup and that face wash and that makeup remover, that's my ex. Every now and again, she comes over to hang out. We watch movies. No big deal. What? I guess we're going to see here, but I'm kind of wondering what was the incentive to continue to just hang around after that? I'm wondering. Let's see here. He then told me that it's complicated. Yeah, for sure. Very complex. My ex, she sleeps over, leaves her stuff here. We have fun. We chit chat. I jackrabbit myself inside of her as well. Complication. Very complicated. And that he was not looking to have anything serious right now. Isn't he kind of with his ex, kind of? You're kind of like the side chick. He's kind of with his ex, kind of. If her stuff is at his place, you're the one finding her stuff. So you're like the side chick. Anyways, so I got pissed and cut him off because obviously I was starting to have feelings for him. Okay. After I cut him off, he started to chase me for weeks and calling me, coming into the bar I work at, trying to make me come back until one day it worked. How is this? Aren't you working? How does this work? Is this not a busy bar? How does he even getting your attention to have? Oh, that's hectic. Since then, we have been seeing each other again, and I thought I was going to be okay, and I was going to be able to control my feelings for him. Yeah, because it worked the first time. I want to mention here that he's a very nice guy. They all are. Okay, like they're all nice, right? At the end of the day, they all seem nice at the beginning. It's all great at the beginning, but you're still hurt. Whether he's a nice guy or not, you're still hurt. So We always have a good time, and the pineapples is amazing. Okay, you're still hurt and you're still traumatized because you want more than to just have amazing pineapples and a good time. You want commitment. Nothing wrong with that, but you're not getting what you want still. He's very respectful and sweet and generous, and he always compliments me and makes me feel good, telling me how good of a person I am. See, a guy can be a good guy, but still confused in what he wants or just not have clear direction. And I'm not saying that this guy is not a good guy, but he just doesn't know what he wants. That doesn't serve you. You can't feel sorry for guys because they're good guys, but they just don't know what they want. Being with him is not going to help him discover that if he doesn't already know. I'm telling you here. You heard it here first. Don't feel sorry for him thinking that you doing him a favor, letting him work through his emotions is going to eventually make him choose you. Because what might happen and what's likely to happen is he'll waste the time with you. Then when he's ready to actually choose what he wants, he'll be with someone else that's not you. And he'll thank you for your service. He's not an a-hole. He's in the Canadian Marine Forces. Okay, so are you his defense attorney? What is this here? He has a great career. He owns a gym and he has his own condo. So you're his defense attorney. Anyways, I accepted the fact that I'm not his dream girl and that I'll never have him any more than that, and that's okay. But lately, something changed with him. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. There's always a new thing to hope. There's always a new reason to have hopium. He asked me to come sleep over. That's the change. But we don't even have pineapple. That's the change. We watch movies, order food, and cuddle and sleep. This never happened before. He says that it's okay. We don't need to have pineapples. He is starting to ask me questions. Oh my God. Like, where was I the night before? Blah, blah, blah. You don't see it. I'll explain it to you after. I feel like he's playing games with me right now, and I don't like that because I really do like him a lot, so I cut him off again. The story doesn't end there, though, so let's see what happens. I don't want my feelings for him to be more intense than they already are, especially after he told me he wasn't looking for anything serious. So now I'm ignoring his calls and texts and leaving him on red. I'm posting stories, living my best life, and he sees them. LOL, I need to take my distance from him. It's the best thing to do for my mental health. I agree there. I also have to mention he's a professional Muay Thai fighter, and the last time we saw each other, he was looking for flights to Thailand. What the hell? Okay. To go there and fight for a month or two. And that he was planning to leave the beginning of September, which is very soon. You know what else is in Thailand? You know what? I won't say it because I think some of you guys don't know, and I don't want to be the one to take your innocence. Okay, never mind. Just forget it. Forget what I said about Thailand. Okay, don't worry about it. I don't know if he booked it or not, but I hope he did so we can finally have the distance. LOL. I know he's gonna show up at my workplace. Okay. Number 3, okay? So my question is, why is he suddenly acting like this? The whole inviting me over without having pineapples and all. So this one time. Okay. Being a little jealous and asking where I was, is it possible that his mind is changing over me and that he's wanting something more? Also, is ignoring him and ghosting him the right thing to do? Thank you in advance. You guys are asking what's in Thailand. There's a lot of places you can get massages in Thailand. It's very legal there, okay? So just know, it's Massage Central. If you like massages, Thailand's the place to go. Okay, I'll just leave it there. Let's have a conversation here. Lay. One of the things that I want you to understand, guys can be great guys, so to speak, right? Nice guys. I'm not saying that he's a bad guy, but it doesn't benefit you for what you're trying to do, which is being along like a serious relationship. If he's a good guy, but he's just unsure what he wants to do with you. You also, I mean, you're smart enough to understand this is probably going nowhere, but you have not had this conversation with him to have a clear understanding of where he stands with his relationship, which was with his ex. He had a whole thing going on. Not, I shouldn't even say a whole thing. His ex, he was still with his ex technically. If his ex has stuff at his place, that's not really a breakup. Like I don't know in what world where we call a breakup where your ex-girlfriend will still have stuff at your place, still come over, and if she has stuff at your place, that means she's still sleeping over every now and again. That's not even a breakup to me, okay? So I don't know in what world that's a breakup, but that's still being together. So he was basically essentially still together with his ex. If you don't have a clear understanding of what transpired or what changed, or if that is completely and utterly over, then there's no need for you to be entertaining anything with him. And I know that you've kind of distanced yourself from him, but I'm just saying this to you so that you can understand if you ever feel the temptation, until you get very clear answers as to where he stands with that ex that's leaving stuff at his place in his bathroom, you should not even be trying to entertain anything with him. And if he's telling you anything about me and my ex, it's compla what? You walk away. Okay? Walk away. And you've already kind of done that, but I'm just reminding you of that's just a confusing state to be in. And some nice guys will also be confused. They'll be confused of what they want out of life and what they want out of a relationship. And they'll string you along while they figure it out. That's a waste of your time. Okay? So you're doing a good thing by not allowing this to go on for much longer. Now, let me answer your question about what does it mean when he invited me over and we didn't sleep together. That could mean a number of things. But even if it means that he likes spending time with you and not just sleeping with you, that doesn't matter, because if he's not ready to act on that by committing to you or actually building a relationship with you and just you and not still talking to his ex, then it doesn't matter why he did that. Do you understand what I'm saying? Guys can say, oh, we don't need to have pineapples because I'm starting to like you and I like spending time with you. That's great. But do you like me and like spending time with me enough to stop talking to your ex? No, me and my ex is complicated. Oh, so waste of your time. What's the point? Okay, who cares? Right? Who cares? If the guy is not prepared to take action on his feelings, right? Just understand that and take that as your interest level is not high enough for me to actually invest my time into you. Because if he's just going to say, oh, I like spending time with you and I like being around you and I want us to spend more time together. Okay, so do you want to take this seriously and actually build it? If the answer to that is no, then don't waste my time. Because it's a waste of my time if you're telling me all the ways you like being around me, but you don't like being around me enough to actually build a relationship with just me. You still want to talk to your ex, you still want to talk to this other girl, and you still want to have other girls doing other things at other bars. So what's the purpose? So I say that to say, I wouldn't be so worried about why he did that one, especially because it's just one time, because you know that guys get lonely as well, right? They, need companionship as well. And so he might invite you over as well because he's lonely and wants some companionship. And it might not always be about sleeping with you. But just because he invites you over because he's lonely and wants companionship, that doesn't mean he's ready to actually be in a serious relationship. And if he's not ready to be in a serious relationship, then who cares whether he's lonely and wants companionship? Are you following me? The action or the intention of actually doing something about it for real is what you should care about. If he's just doing things because he's lonely or because he likes you a little bit, he's liking spending time with you, it's still useless to you. Especially if he's not actually willing to go the lengths that are required to make this a real thing, not just a casual thing. Okay. Sometimes the nice guys, they're confused as well, and you can't feel sorry for them. You commit yourself and spend your time and energy with the guys who know what they want, and they know that they're going to actually go through what's necessary to do this relationship with you. If it's not that serious to them, then you can't worry yourself about it either. Let's go on to our next question here. Aries says, help me recover my dignity. Okay, so you want me to scold you? Hi, Thompson. I'm 21 years old. I'm young, but I feel like I've lived so many lives. I have never been on the lucky side of society and friendships, as I was bullied for my then tooth gap since 6 years old. I used to have crooked teeth too, chat. I got braces. Okay, thank God. Up until COVID. This had made me feel a rare occasion. Wait, what? This made it a rare occasion for me to make friends and build relationships, which enabled me to hold on and take advantage of the connections I did have. Okay. It seems in some cases, my aura has just repelled people growing up. In other cases, people would not take our friendship seriously at all, talk behind my back, but would still address me as if we were real friends, aka laugh at me, not with me. During, we'll just say, COVID was the period of my life where I had the most interactions and friendships, ironically, until I stopped, I think you might say, overextending myself to them all. They're nowhere to be found today. Since graduating high school in 22, I have not found a tribe yet. That's fine. It's okay. Take some time. Okay. It's not an instant thing. Don't worry. I know that you encourage us to go out and talk to people who share our interests, goals, aesthetics, but after putting this into practice for a very long time, I'm receiving the opposite of results I want, which means I'm clearly doing something wrong. During the summer, I have a lot of hobbies and interests like tennis, photo shoots, concerts, exercising. I went to a carnival event in 2023. Are you going to these by yourself? Right? Are you going with people? Isn't that okay? And saw two girls I thought were really pretty. They were cracking jokes together and actually seemed humorous. I approached them, letting them know how pretty I thought they were, and I asked them for their Instagrams. They gave it to me. I followed and messaged them a couple days later. No follow back or message. Okay. I unfollowed and unsent. Oh, okay. Okay. Why give me your IG just to ignore me? The same reason you would give your IG to a guy you know you're never going to speak to. Okay. If you want to follow me, you can. I don't care. Below, I have a screenshot of more examples where I reach out to people to get myself out there and make friends, and the same thing happens each time. Either ghosted or flaked on. You will see in some of them that it looks as if they were the last to respond, but that is only because I unsent my response after being left undelivered for months. Oh, okay, wow. All right, let's open this up here. Let's see if we can take this and analyze it. I want to make sure I can actually see this. Okay, let me make sure I can do this properly here. Oh boy, chat. You know, we be going into the weeds here. Can I do this? Let me do this properly. Okay, there we go. Chat, we be going into the weeds here. We don't have time to play around. I'm gonna pull up our let's see. There we go. I'm gonna pull this up for the chat so we can all see this and we can all read this together. Okay, so this is your messages that you be sending to them people. Okay. You guys see that? Make sure you guys can see that. Make sure that let me just make it well for you guys on TikTok as well. Okay. Everyone gets an opportunity to see this. All right. So Slay, actually, I'm off every Sunday too. Want to do the next? And then you say, yes, we can. Have you ever been to Caribas? I have not. We must go. It's amazing. It's Italian. Perfect. But like, I'm going to look really big because I think like a big back because pasta makes me so bloated. Okay. And then you didn't respond because you were embarrassed. Okay. Let's go to our next one. Let's open this one up. Okay. Hi, love. Are we still hanging out tomorrow, you say? Oops, let me make sure this is the right size for the chat. Fit to screen. Okay. Are we still hanging out tomorrow? I don't know. I'm stressed with all of this homework. So once again, this person didn't respond to you. Okay, let's go to our next one. Open this one up. All the baddies from Detroit. Okay, so you're from Detroit. Shout out Detroit. Is there much to do up here? I've always wanted to visit. Okay, so you're trying to make friends? No. Oh. This is very, once I start seeing this, no. She doesn't even send multiple emojis. She sends one emoji. This is like the I'm uninterested. You know when, you guys wouldn't know. But as a guy, if you DM a girl and she's responding like this, you just cut your losses. One emoji, one, you know, like just a no. Yeah, but they're not interested in having a conversation. And you're kind of leading the conversation here, right? You're asking questions and stuff, you know. Honestly, if it wasn't for the fact that you sent me in this message, I would assume it's a guy hitting up a girl on DM. Like, it's very much giving that type of vibe. Excuse me. This is your next one. Sounds like a nightmare. Gives me all the final exam vibes. Yeah, that's definitely the vibes I'm getting. Unfortunately, she's been stressing about having her to study, but I'm sure she'll do better than she thinks. Exams in general. So you guys are talking about exams. I didn't study. Sorry if that sounds lazy. So all of these people, wow, every single one of these messages here, you responded and then they just didn't respond. Okay. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. Okay. We have to have a conversation about this. Okay. Lay. Or sorry, your name's not Lay. What was your name here that we had for you? Ari. Okay. Let me pull the message back up. This is not good. Okay. This type of stuff is not good. I'm going to say this nicely. Anytime you approach people with the energy, this isn't just a men thing, the energy of, I really need you in my life. My life is so dull, so gray, so uninteresting. I need to have someone like you in my life. It will always scream desperation, whether it's a platonic relationship or a romantic one. People are always repulsed by that. I don't make the rules. I can explain them to you. People will always be repulsed by someone who they feel has the energy of someone who needs them, right? Especially okay, you have to also understand these people don't know you. They also know that you don't know them. You don't know where they're from. You don't know what they're like. You don't know anything about them. So messaging a girl that you've never met, I'm assuming you've never met. You're just replying to her stories, or maybe you did meet her one time, and you're saying, I would love to be friends with you. We all would love to sing Kumbaya and hold hands and treat each other amazing, but people don't respond to that. Okay? Like, you won't get, if you did that 100 times, you won't get a lot of positive responses from the standpoint of people just saying, oh, I want to be your friend, or just trying their best to be your friend. What you have to understand, even when it comes to women as well, right? Platonic relationships, you are the most attractive version of yourself when you're thriving. Okay? I'm going to say that again. You are the most attractive version of yourself, both romantically and platonically, when you are thriving. Because when people see you thriving, they want to be and get a piece of the magic that they see you have going on in your life. Right? That's just how people are. When they see someone doing really well, they want to do really well themselves. So they're hoping, if I can align myself with you because you're doing really well, that some of that magic might rub off on me. So you're so attractive to people when you're doing well for yourself. So if you understand that, then you understand that perception is everything, because your perception is what will allow people to feel like you have that magic going on, versus will also allow them to feel like, oh, you're someone who doesn't have that magic going on, right? People want to be a part of the magic. They don't want to be joining somewhere or hitching themselves on someone's wagon who's going nowhere or is desperate or needs them, right? They want to be a part of something that doesn't need them, that is going somewhere really special, and they want to get some of that. It's just how people are. So what I want you to understand in kind of like helping you reshape the way that you kind of go about this stuff, right? Because I'm not saying that you shouldn't have friends. Oh, you have more in this message, okay? Let's kind of go through this a little bit here. I also met a girl on IG that I was able to become successful friends with. We went to lunch. She didn't follow up for a lot of months, then invited me to her graduation the following year. That's weird. She doesn't really speak to you and she invites you to her graduation. I came through to support. I met some of her friends and we shared similarities as well. Then asked for my social medias, wanting to be friends only to disconnect themselves days to weeks after. After the graduation party happened, I hadn't heard from her for another year or so. I tried making plans multiple times. She never seemed to have the time for me, just like previous examples shown. 2 of my birthdays went by at that point and nothing. Recently, I did a media cleanse and unfollowed her because naturally I figured she didn't take our friendship seriously, which you should. You should cleanse yourself of people who just, aren't even in your life, that you just don't speak to and don't care about you. Okay. Conveniently, 3 days after that, she DMs me saying, I miss you. Then just don't respond. You got to kind of treat this like a man. Once she realized I unfollowed her, she said, never mind, and unfollowed me back. I feel deflated and confused because I had spent the last 2 years almost trying to build rapport with her. And now that I finally gave up after not receiving anything back, now she reaches out as if she forgot about me for as long as she did, got bored one day, decided to scroll through her phone and remembered my existence, then took it back when she saw I moved on with my life. I take accountability for my desperation in the past as a teen, but I don't believe friendships worth having are this difficult to find, to the point where I'm getting rejected before anyone even knows me. The imbalance of my dignity is well on the negative after this plethora of disapproval. It feels as if the universe is dangling companionship in my face. Are you able to analyze these situations and advise me on how to change my approach when looking for friends? Thank you kindly, and I will be listening to your response on the way you work. Okay, I'm going to shift this conversation to a place I didn't anticipate it going. I'm going to say something, and then this is where I need your guidance, chat, because you're all women and I'm a man. I'm going to say something and I want you guys to either approve of my message or disapprove. That way Ari can see this and decide what she wants to do with this. This is going to sound weird, Ari. With girls, sometimes, in my estimation, even though they're not romantically attracted to you, your attractiveness can affect their desire to be your friend or not. As weird as it might sound, yes, attractiveness will mean guys will approach you and things like that. What you'll also find is that for women, if you're approaching them to be their friend or you want to befriend some of these women and they don't find you conventionally attractive, I'm not saying that you're not. I'm just giving you maybe an idea of maybe some of the things that are going on. Sometimes they're less inclined to have the desire to really be your friend. The reason I say that, and this is where chat, you guys can kind of step in here and tell me if this is true or not. The reason I say that is because it's kind of your attractiveness, right? Even though they're not attracted to you, their ability to recognize your attractiveness also speaks to the level of magic you have surrounding you. Are you following me? Your physical attractiveness, your aura, your confidence, that's all of your magic as a woman. Other women are able to see that and recognize if you have that or not. If they see that you have that magic, you're very attractive to them as a friend. If they are noticing that you don't have that magic, and it's obviously the whole package, it's your looks, it's your aura, it's your confidence, all that good stuff, they're less attracted to you in that, right? And so in the weirdest way, sometimes the girls can also be a little bit shallow from the aspect of if you're approaching them and they don't deem you to be on a level of attractiveness that, would actually give you that magic of being a very, attractive human being to everyone, then they're less interested in being your friend. So then the question becomes, how do you kind of combat that and work with that? Then you kind of have to work on being the best version of yourself, because when you're doing that, that gives you more of that magic. And it's not just the physical, getting a huge dump truck or anything like that. But the more you invest in yourself, the more of that magic you possess, that the other women that meet you, they want some of that, right? Ari, if you've ever been to the gym before and you see a girl with a huge dump truck, right? A big booty, and you can tell like it's a real booty. She really works for it, and a tight body. You're more attracted to that person, not from the standpoint that you actually want to sleep with her or anything, but you're more attracted to like have a conversation with her. I want to hear what you have to say. I want to be friends with someone like you. I want to know what you're about. I would love to hang out with someone like you because you represent things that I want for myself. You see how that kind of works? So the reason I say that is because you have to kind of do a little bit of inward looking that, am I an attractive person to be around? Or am I someone that comes across as if I need to latch on to other people in order to have an interesting life? Because if I don't have the type of persona, personality, the type of look or aura that other people would gravitate towards, then whenever I do reach out to people to ask them to be friends or to want to be around them or to hang out with them, they'll be like, why would I want you around? You don't have any of the magic that I want. You just be latching on to me. And so you have to kind of figure out, I know that you said you've been doing exploring and things like that, but you have to kind of figure out, how are you going to continue improving and working on yourself that you will be the person with the magic, and the women, even as weird as it sounds, will be attracted to you because they'll be trying to get on your level and see what you're all about. Are you following me? You know you're in the right place where you don't have to go up to the women and ask them to be friends, and instead the women are coming up to you and asking you that if you want to be friends, or if you want to go out, or this and that, okay? It's kind of the same thing in a weird sense, right? Because the women will approach you the same way the men will approach you, because they see that you have that level of attractiveness that, oh, I need to see what's going on with her, type of thing. So the reason I say that is because maybe I'm wrong. Okay, and that's where, chat, you can step in and tell me, nah, that's not how us women go about it. But if you guys believe that that's right, Ari, you can reread that and see that, and then maybe that might be part of the adjustment that you need to make, right? Or just need to think about in terms of changing your outcome there, all right? Let's go to our next question here. Oh, I see someone just popped in a question. It's okay, you're in the premium section, so we'll do you. All right, let me just make sure that you sent in a question. Okay, you did. All right, let's go here. We got Jay here. I'm so confused. Help. Okay, Jay. Hi, I'm from NYC. Okay. 25, writing about a guy I'm seeing who's 27. Okay, dating in NYC, I'm sure is hard. Lots of different types of characters. So we met through a mutual friend back in January of this year. We were seeing each other for around 2 months, and it was going really well. At the time, I was working in a bar playing music, and he is in finance. I'm looking for a guy who's 6'5", blue eyes, finance, something else. I don't know how it goes. Okay. So we were on completely different schedules. Also, a big red flag to add is that I had decided to leave college a few months before this to focus on music. And we talked about this once, and I almost felt like he was pressuring me a bit to go back to school. I mean, he's a finance guy. Okay. Although my mind was already made up. It was definitely uncomfortable, and I felt a bit judged, but I let it go. Anyways, our last weekend before it ended was fantastic. What do you mean by that? We went to each other's hometowns, did not meet each other's family, but met each other's friends and started getting really close. Then it all went downhill when I fell asleep at his apartment that Sunday by accident. I was not feeling too well and didn't mean to. He woke me up super early and basically freaked out on me that I was still asleep and he had to go to work and I needed to leave right away. I was really annoyed because he gave me like 0.2 seconds to get out. It felt weird. Anyways, he called later that day and said it just wasn't going to work due to our differences of lifestyles, which I kind of understood if I'm being honest. but I feel like he somewhat was looking down on me. Okay. Anyways, now we're in November. I decided to go back to college and I'm doing really well. What happened to the music thing? I have about a year left, still playing and teaching music alongside this, and things are just overall great. So you've realized you can do both, okay? I feel like I'm doing better than ever. I ran into this man randomly. Damn, in the biggest city in North America, you ran into him randomly? Okay, interesting. Randomly, about 2 weeks ago, walking down the street in Manhattan. Manhattan ain't that small. Trust me, I know. Manhattan ain't that damn small. You ran into him by accident like that? You sure it was by accident? Okay. He was with his friends. I was with mine. Want to clarify that he did not know anything in my life changed at this point. I love how you bolded this out. We had no contact since it ended in March. He texted me a few minutes after and said it was nice to see me. Okay. I responded. We ended up. Wait, what? I responded. We ended up meeting up. What? How did you? He stayed over. Okay. I don't. Sometimes when you guys, okay, we might have to have a conversation. Sometimes when you guys send in messages, okay, I love you, right? But sometimes when you guys send in messages, you're going in detail about certain stuff, and I'm like, okay, yeah, great, I love it, great detail. But then when it comes to the details that are so prevalently important to the understanding of what is going on and how things went from one place to the other, that is like magically the time where you guys choose to like skip over so many different details that would give us so much important context to understand how we got from point A. Oh God, I need to stretch my back out. You guys are misaligning my chakras. How we got from point A to point B, because I just don't get it. You're like, maybe they do things differently in NYC. Please tell me, those of you who live in NYC, specifically in the Manhattan area, is this a regular occurrence? Because I don't know. Maybe I live in Toronto. Toronto's like a smaller New York, but maybe Manhattan, they do things a little bit differently in that borough and in that area that I'm not aware of. Okay, my brother, he was born in Staten Island. I lived in Staten Island for a little bit. Maybe I'm not out with the times here. How do you go from seeing him on the street with his friends to he stays? How do we get there? I don't understand. You haven't spoken to this guy in months, and he messages you once after seeing you on the street. And wow, I just don't get it. That might need a part two. Nothing happened. We just kissed. How did he end up staying over at your place? Why has that been skipped? The following Wednesday, he took me out for dinner, and we went to see some live music. What? Okay. Yesterday, we went to the movies. It seems like things are going really well. What has happened? But the problem is, I'm not sure if he just wants me now because I'm doing better. We just talked about magic, right? People want a piece of that magic when they see you thriving and doing well. Or up to his standards now. It feels to me, maybe he didn't want me at my worst, but now he wants me at my best. You're the most attractive version of yourself when you're thriving. That's a natural thing for all humans. But I also don't know if it's really, if that's really the problem or not. Maybe it's just better timing now. What do you think? Help, I'm so confused. I really like him. I just have a fear that if things go wrong again with anything in my life that he's going to run or something. Am I overthinking this? Please help. Okay, I want to give you a piece of advice that you didn't really touch on for too long here that I want to really be very keen on. You guys having two totally different lifestyles, right? Is a really big issue that's not just going to disappear because now you guys are talking again. You mentioned here that the first time you guys stopped talking, it was because, you guys had that little issue with his, waking up late and things like that, and then he ended it. but you already felt it was going to end because of your difference of lifestyles. Your lifestyles really the difference in them hasn't changed, meaning you still want a particular thing for your life and he goes about his life a different way. The question becomes, if you guys aren't aligned in your vision of your own future, and you're not aligned in the vision of what you think a relationship should look like, that's not going to work. Whether you like him, whether he D's you down, whether he D's you up, whether he D's you sideways, whether his song is long, huge, or medium sized, that's not going to work. You have to be working together towards the same point, the same goal. If your vision of that goal or that point is different or in completely, opposite directions, you will never have enough like or love or, sex that will eventually get you to where you want to be in the relationship. So I say that to say you were talking from the very beginning about the fact that you think he disapproves, while you're sure that he disapproves of your way about going about life when it comes to, not wanting to go back to school and pursuing music and things like that, right? And you said you felt a bit judged, right? And he was pressuring you to go back to school. He has a particular way of going about life that he thinks is the right way to go about life. Your way of going about that is different. That's not a crime. But if you guys aren't aligned in that, you have to be aware that the partner that you choose should, even if they don't share all of your same interests, they should have the same approach to life and the same, way about going about life, that you guys can be aligned in that as partners. If he thinks you should be going to school and studying finance as well, and that's not at all what you want for your life, but that's the only way he'll have respect for you, that ain't gonna work. Because what you're essentially saying up here is that you feel like this guy doesn't have respect for you because you want to do something different than he does. To the point where you're feeling uncomfortable and judged because you don't want to do what he wants you to do. So what you're essentially saying is he doesn't approve of you, the person, like you, the human being. So how are you going to build a relationship off of that foundation where he already starts off with no respect for you because of how you choose to live your life? He's essentially, in order to be with you, going to have to try and change you into what he wants. And what you're going to have to essentially do is try to change him to be what you want. That's not going to work. You have to meet someone who is aligned with you in the places that are the most important so that you guys can work together for the same goal. Not meet someone, be like, yeah, I like you, but I want to change this, and this about you. And then spend the entire rest of the relationship trying to turn them into a completely different human being. Just date the completely different human being. So Jay, my advice to you is to let this go. Not because he's not a cool guy, not because I'm sure you have fun hanging out with him, but you're not aligned here. You guys aren't going for the same thing here. I would advise you, if you're this passionate about music, right? Because you say, help, I'm confused. I'm going to advise you here. If you're this passionate about music and you really know this is something that you want for your life, my advice to you as a creative myself, find someone who is either a creative themselves or is willing and curious enough to learn about it and has interest in it where they accept you for being a creative and they encourage you to be a creative. I'm telling you this as a creative, if you find yourself in a relationship with someone who you think is trying to suppress your creativity, you will always rebel against that and you will always resent that person for doing that to you, okay? Even if it works. You should be with someone who encourages that creativity out of you, even if they're not in a creative, industry themselves, or someone who is in that same industry as you. That way you guys are aligned in that, right? That way, the way you go about life and the way you go about even your relationship can be working towards the same destination instead of the entire time you're fighting against each other, trying to turn each other into something totally different, okay? All right. Hope that helps you. All right, chat. That's the show for today. If you guys have any questions for me, feel free to send in your question either to our Discord section, whether it be our free one or our premium one, or send me a private relationship advice question that you can send to me, and I'll respond to you via voice message on your email. Okay. All of those links are available in my TikTok bio or the link in my description on YouTube for you to send in your questions those different ways. All righty. Let me make sure I get to all of our donations here that we got in the YouTube chat. Thank you so much to, I said to do so at the very beginning. Nicole donates $5. She says, everything made perfect sense to me. Thank you, Tomisin. Thank you, Nicole. If I had like a donation leaderboard, I think Nicole is on the very top, okay? Great Fortune becomes a member. Great Fortune Cookie becomes a member today. Thank you so much, Great Fortune Cookie. Glad to see you become a member. You've been here consistently, okay? One of our A+ students. Is it a bad signal to send if you agree to having alcohol on the first few dates? Great Fortune Cookie donates and sends in this question. Great Fortune Cookie, my advice to you guys when it comes to drinking, for those of you who don't know, I used to drink, right? Up until like 2 years ago. Okay. So I quit drinking like 2 years ago, and now I haven't drank anything, not even wine or anything. Okay. Not even a hard seltzer. Okay. The reason I say don't drink is not because I feel like I'm better than people or you shouldn't drink, drinking is bad or smoking is bad. My advice to you is those first few dates are so pivotal to his perception of you for the future. You just don't want to be in a position where drinking makes you say or do things that sober you regrets. And I'm saying this as someone who used to drink and be in that position myself. Because especially when it comes to romantic relationships, at the beginning, once you set that perception of you, you can't undo that. And if you make the mistake of having a little bit too much to drink on those first couple of dates, and you have a little bit too much fun, or you say the wrong things or you do the wrong things, now all of a sudden you're spending all of the rest of the relationship trying to recover from that, or convince that guy that that's not you, right? If you drink, you go over to his house and you sleep with him, then you spend the rest of the relationship trying to convince him, well, I'm really not that type of girl. That ship has already sailed. You understand what I'm saying? And we want the reason I'm saying that is because you want the guys to take you very seriously. So you have to present yourself very seriously. I'm not saying you can't have fun, but you want to make sure that time where you want to communicate, I'm serious, you better take this serious, you want to make sure that all of that is lined up. Okay, so I know everyone's a little bit different. Some people, they can have 2 drinks and be perfectly fine. Some people can only take 1 shot and be fine. Some people can operate on a level where they're tipsy and they know how to just keep it right there and never go overboard. I've never been one of those people, right? I'm like an all or nothing type of person. So when I used to drink, I used to be like, I got to drink to get drunk, right? I want to be not blackout, but I want to be drunk, right? And so I always found it hard to like keep it right there, you know, where it's just enough to feel good, but not too much where you start saying and doing some weird stuff, right? And so I found that difficult, which is why I just cut it out altogether. Some people might be able to balance that. So that's where you have to be self-aware enough to say, can I balance it truthfully? Or do I have a problem where once I start, it's hard for me to be able to keep it under control? Okay. Whichever one you are, it's fine. Okay. And just because you can't take, drink and still not be cringe, that doesn't mean you're a bad person. Okay. Like it's hard for a lot of people. All right. So my advice to you is to be self-aware enough to know what your limits are. And if you're just someone that can't keep those limits, then don't even bother, right? That's my advice on the first few dates, at least. Ivy donates $10. She says, can you ask a guy what he is looking for? You can. Of course you can. But the thing about it is when you go out, think about it. If you go out on a date with a guy that you meet on Hinge or Bumble and you ask him what he's looking for, do you think he's going to say, yeah, so just to let you know, I'm actually still madly in love with my ex and I sleep with her on a weekly basis. And I'm probably going to marry her, but we're just having a situation right now where things aren't working out. But eventually when they start working out, I'm going to leave you for her. But I just want to waste your time in the meantime. Who's going to say that? When you ask guys, they're most of the time just going to say, yeah, I'm looking for something serious. It doesn't mean anything. What you have to do is you can't ask him, but then after you ask him, understand that doesn't mean anything. And you have to utilize your ability to analyze and observe his actions over the course of time to see what he actually means. Do you like, right? And what he's actually looking for. Because you'll get that answer, right? It'll just won't come in the form of him telling you what he's actually looking for. You'll figure it out, though, as time goes on and you get smart, right? And you are smart, Ivy. All right, chat. That is the show for today. For those of you who have, I already said that. Or is a question. For those of you who want to follow me on Instagram, my Instagram is Tomisin_Tub. It's just on the top left corner of the screen for those of you on TikTok, and it's also in the link in my description for those of you who are on YouTube. If you want to rewatch the show because you missed parts of it and you're on TikTok, you want to find the show and see how you can watch me more, go onto my YouTube channel, which is right above my head, Tomisin Atobatele. Just type in, you can type in just my first name. I'm live there at the same time. So you can go and find my YouTube channel, go into the live section. You'll be able to see this live stream and all the other live streams I've done since the beginning of time. And you'll be able to have the YouTube and TikTok chat embedded in the video so you can keep along with everything that we discussed today and everything that everyone was talking about today. All right. I'm here every weekday, Monday to Friday at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So you got to figure out what time that is in your time zone. Okay. So I'll be here again tomorrow at 4 p.m. EST. Until we meet again, goodbye for now. Hasta la vista, sayonara, adios, ciao, salam, arrivederci, bon voyage. And I'll see you again tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. All right? Goodbye. And I love you. Lots. All right? I'll see you later. Won't be long.